When it comes to the spirit world, supernatural, chakras, I'm indifferent. Normally, I just don't mess with any of it. Whether it's real or not, I'm sure not gonna fool around and find out. I'm here to live as normal a life I can, die, and then we can go from there. But I got curious. What would happen if I individually booked readings with a bunch of psychics? I mean, I don't even know what they do. I just know something about them being made of crystals and having 3 eyes or something. It's a world I've never explored before. Until today, I didn't even know what to expect. Would they all say the same thing? Different things? Would they say I'm cursed and demand to put a ritual on me? Who knows? I booked a reading with 5 different psychics. Let's see what they all said about me. I wanted to keep as much consistency in all of this as possible. You know, scientific method and all that. So I specifically booked a tarot card reading and palm reading from all 5 of them. That way they're all reading the same things for me and we get to be good little scientists in the supernatural community. Anyway, Psychic 1. I walked into the shop and saw a table with a bunch of candles and crystals on it. You know, the typical psychic stuff. Now, I've never gone to a psychic at this point. I didn't know what they were gonna do to me. Were they gonna say my name and say they've been expecting me? And for all I know, a real-life wizard could walk through the door and speak in riddles to me the whole time. But Psychic 1 was a 5-foot-tall, middle-aged white lady in a black spaghetti-strapped tank top and a ponytail. All the psychics had a bit of a different method of doing the tarot card reading, but the overall gist is they had me put my right hand over the stack of cards, say my full name, then I pulled 18 cards that would determine my reading. Psychic 1 pulled the cards herself though. I didn't get to pick them, so I don't know if that was a non-regulation move or all the other psychics let me pick my cards, I'm just saying. She started with what she read about me as a person. I'm my own boss and don't like being told what to do, which is like half true. Well, being my own boss is full true. Hi guys. In normal day-to-day life, I love having someone else tell me what to do. It's just nice to turn my brain off and put someone else behind the wheel. But with YouTube, it's true. I don't like being told what to do. With the Pokemon XD video, I was asking Jacob what I should do with the thumbnail, and he said I shouldn't have Shadow Lugia in it because it's not that eye-catching. And I was like, no, I'm putting Shadow Lugia in the thumbnail because I love Shadow Lugia. And then I did. So the psychic's pretty on point so far. She said I don't like asking people for things. Everything I have, I worked to gain with my own 2 hands. I'm gonna live a long and healthy life beyond my 80s, and I'm gonna have 3 kids. All of those things are pretty fair. I do think you could say that to the majority of people though. Even if it's not genuinely true to their personality, I think most people like to believe that's the type of person they are. And if I don't live to be 80, what am I gonna do? Sue her? But that's the very strong skeptic in me talking. She do know me for real for real. Then she asked if I had any questions for her, and I told her that I constantly worry that my birds are gonna die in some freak accident or sudden disease, or they get out and fly away never to be seen again. She pulled more cards and said she sees that they're safe, but would recommend placing a spiritual protection over them, which was very interesting to hear. From what she explained, I'd be doing a 3-day, 3-night meditation for them to create a spiritual barrier that can protect them physically, mentally, and medically. Promising medical protection is a big deal. You can't just throw that around lightly, might I just say. And to perform the meditation, I would need to buy the materials from her to do it. She was very big on making sure I knew I wasn't paying for her time, just the materials. Which, how thoughtful. Until she dropped the materials would cost $427. Let's just do a quick rundown on this whole session so we're all up to speed. During this psychic reading, this lady learned I'm my own boss, am successful enough to run my own animation team, care very deeply about my birds, enough to pay a psychic $90 to ask about their safety, and all I have to do to fully protect them from basically anything and everything in this world is set up this spiritual protection for the low price of $427. I didn't know you could repel cancer for under $500. Someone distract the government. I think we're onto something here. I just told her I don't have the money for it right now. A lie she most definitely didn't believe at that point, but I had to say something to stop this snowball in its tracks. And immediately she said, "That's fine, but this isn't something you should wait a long time on. Thank you, we'll be in touch." I never went back. For that being my first psychic reading experience, it spawned so many questions, but it did answer one I had beforehand, which was, How do psychics even stay in business? Because I am now starting to understand the business model going on here. Moving on to Psychic 2. I'll say this right now, this one was my favorite. She was really nice and we had a lot of good small talk. Her psychic reading room was a little closet in her house, and by the end of the session, it was very warm in there. But I had a nice time. Same situation, got a tarot card and palm reading. I think she said she gave me a general spiritual reading as well, and this all cost $90, just like the last one. What she said was all very positive. She said she sees me making a name for myself in whatever industry I'm in. That was genuinely the first thing she said to me. I didn't tell her about my job or anything. She sees a lot of new and exciting opportunities coming for me in the new year. I got all these readings done late 2022, so by the time this video actually comes out, we get to see if that's true. She also said I'm planned to live a long and healthy life past my 80s, and she foresees me moving to a different location sometime when I'm older, which is most likely true. I don't like LA. It freaks me out. She identified my bad time of the day, which she said is 3 a.m. Again, true. If life gets a bit too hard to handle, I will absolutely have a meltdown in bed at that time. But also, everyone has a meltdown when they're broken and it's late at night. That's a universal bad time. They even wrote a rule in life about it. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. But it's good to be more aware of because I forget and 3 a.m. hits different some nights. She said I've always been connected to animals. I'm gonna be a mother of 3. Okay, the other psychic did say that. Mental note. And for some reason said I should get into hiking, which just sounds like a nice hobby recommendation. I didn't know tarot cards and palms could say that. I asked her about my birds. I didn't get the spiritual protection from the other psychic, so they are still in jeopardy. And she said although she's reading that they should be safe, if I'm worried about any medical issues, I should just go to the vet and get general checkups done. Which, you know, I respect a lot. I came in asking about the health and safety of my animals and she told me what she read, but if I'm actually concerned, to just go to a doctor. And didn't charge me $427 for it. Overall, Psychic 2 was very nice. She gave me a good reading, didn't try to sell me anything, and reminded me that doctors exist. Psychic 3 was kind of back in the same vein as Psychic 1. She almost immediately said I'm gonna live past my 80s and have 3 kids. Alright. She said she sees me having good financial fortune and good opportunities are coming in the new year. But she also said in August, a man with a beard and or mustache is gonna approach me with a business opportunity and to be wary of him. And then, before I could even process that, she said I may be involved in a light car accident in the next few months, possibly a fender bender. This is the first psychic that was this blunt about straight up predicting things. And by the time this video comes out, those months would have passed already. So I'll add right now if I was in a car accident. She also said someone near me is gonna have a baby and that I'm gonna become very attached to it. And that's gotta be the most incorrect sounding prediction of all the psychics so far because I am not a fan of babies. I don't like them. I think they are weird and unpredictable. I do not care who in my group of family or friends has a baby. I'm staying the hell away from it. She went back to reading me as a person, said I'm very trusting and to be aware of jealous people that are around me. In this industry, that's pretty fair. Then she said it seemed like I had a big purchase on my mind, to which I admitted there was something expensive I saw that I've had my mind on for a while. She asked what it was because she foresaw it being good for me, and I told her about the new giant Altaria plush that Pokemon announced. I don't think that's what she expected though, because she seemed to lose a little focus after that one. But I did end up buying it. I asked about my birds, just like I have been for all of them, and she said they seem safe. However, after reading me for so long, she sensed my chakras were imbalanced, which was a shame because I could have sworn they were properly aligned. Anyway, she would like to help with them. I said, sure, and she hit me with the meditation prayer bit and how I'm only paying for the materials and not her time, and they're gonna cost $375. Much cheaper than Psychic 1, but man, that's like the same setup and kicker, and no medical protection to boot. I politely declined and left. I gotta say though, this psychic was the first one to straight up tell me, you're gonna be in a car accident. A bearded man is gonna approach you in August. Like, just real life things. Whether or not they come true, you gotta respect that gamble. Definitely an all or nothing type of psychic. She was also the most expensive one yet. The other psychics were both $90, but this one charged me $162 for the readings. Now, Psychic 4 was a doozy, might I tell you. I walked up to her shop door, entered the room, and no one was there. I immediately walked back out because it's weird to be just there alone, and texted her I was here, to which she responded, Give me 15 minutes. Kind of strange a psychic is running late, but I'm not here to get into that irony. So I just sat on a little chair and waited outside. 15 minutes passed, then 20, 30. This lady was 40 minutes late to a psychic reading. I brushed it aside because whatever, and we started. She let me pick my tarot cards, laid them out in the formation, and told me she's very surprised I picked a lot of queen cards. Apparently, in the standard tarot card deck of 78 cards, there's 4 queens, and I randomly picked 3 of them. She explained that's no accident. So you heard it here first, people. Certified and indisputable queen over here. The stars said so. She led with how she sees I have a good, strong energy. I work for everything I have. I've got good financial stability. I'm gonna run my own company and be a good leader. But she sees a lot of jealous people around me and to be careful about them. I tried to explain YouTube to her because I felt like that would explain all the things she just said, since all things considered, it's pretty accurate. But after like 5 minutes of trying to explain what a YouTube channel is, she just gave up and was like, sorry, I just don't understand technology. Fair enough. Also, sure, all of what she said was surprisingly accurate, but I'm always wary of what can be used as a blanket statement, especially when it comes to the financial stuff, because I don't know, I think going to psychics is a bit of a luxury expense. Not everyone can afford to pay upwards of $100 just to be told they've got positive vibes and are gonna be in a car accident. But then Psychic 4 said, I don't know how you do it, but you're making at least X per month, and gave me a very specific range of what I actually do make per month. That's what definitely perked my ears up. You know, I don't have a normal job, and even after not understanding how I make money, she was able to drop a number that was pretty close, all things considered. Then she said she sees me living a long and healthy life, and that I'm gonna be a mother of 3. I haven't directly talked about it yet, but I would like to say it's hauntingly strange how literally all 4 psychics have told me I'm gonna be a mother of 3. None of them even asked me if I like kids in the first place. They just straight up told me point blank. I don't know what about me is giving off I'm gonna have 3 kids vibes, but it needs to stop. I absolutely do not want 3 kids. It's too many kids for me to handle. I'm gonna have to figure out how to change the fates, like, immediately, because it's all feeling a bit too real at this point. They also all said I was gonna live a healthy life past my 80s. So if I die at 50, I want all of my money back. Anyway, Psychic 4 kept talking, saying it seemed my birds are safe, because I asked, but there seems to be a negative energy trying to attack them, to which she'll start meditating to protect them. Also, my chakras seem unaligned and my 3rd eye isn't very developed despite how old my soul is. Which sure is a sentence. So she recommended a chakra meditation thing. She had me lay on her table under a lamp of RGB crystals and turned on relaxing spa music. Then she told me to close my eyes because when your eyes are closed, your 3rd eye opens. And that's why you dream when you sleep. It's your 3rd eye. You learn something new every day. Anyway, I laid there. She gave me some crystals to hold and put more crystals on my chest and stomach and legs and put a bell on my forehead that she would ring every few minutes. After a bit of that, she told me she had to leave the room for 5 minutes so her energy doesn't interfere with mine. But I could swear she left me on that table alone and blindfolded for like 15, maybe more. After she remembered I was still there, she came back, sprayed me with lavender, which was pleasant, did little karate chops on my body, and then had me sit up. I did hit my head on the RGB crystals, so I hope that didn't jostle my chakras. And that was that. She said I had a lot of energy and that I'm an old spirit, but I need to develop my 3rd eye more, and she's gonna send me home with a couple incense to burn, and that I need to come back tomorrow. At this point, I was in too deep. All the other psychics, I was able to squeeze my way out of these situations, but I just ended up doing it this time, mainly because she told me to burn incense, but I didn't have an incense burner, and then she lent me hers, and I didn't want to just take it and dip, so I burnt the incense like she told me to, and went back the next afternoon thinking that was it, and after that I could start not coming back anymore. But then she gave me some crystals, more incense, and bath salts this time, and told me to meditate in the bath while holding the crystals and also burn more incense, which meant I go home with her incense burner again, and that's when my friends told me to stop there and not go back. So I didn't. By the way, she charged me $776. I have no idea how she did that. She said the chakra thing where I lay on the table was like $100 or $200 extra. And then after we were done, she gave me the card reader and it said $650, to which I was just like, sure, whatever. And then my email receipt said $776. Again, I am reminded of how these people actually stay in business. She called me a queen, gave me a crystal nap, and then took $800 from me. And last but not least, Psychic 5. So for her, when I called to book an appointment, she told me she only takes cash and that I have to call 30 minutes before our appointment to confirm. So I did that a few days later when our appointment was scheduled, and she's like, oh, I'll be honest, honey, I completely forgot about you. Can we reschedule to tomorrow? Which is like, first of all, how does a psychic forget? I rescheduled to the next day, but a few hours later, she called me back and was like, actually, I overbooked you on top of a different appointment. Can we reschedule to next week? And at this point, I'm annoyed, but again, I'm like, whatever. So we reschedule again. I called to confirm 30 minutes before again, and once again, she forgot. So I just gave up. Tell me how many kids I'm gonna have. And that was my psychic experience. I'm still pretty indifferent about all of it, but I can totally see how and why people can get super into it if they surround themselves with the culture. Whether it's real or I believe it or not, it was surprisingly nice to be told things were gonna be okay. I do think some of them can be a bit predatory on people at their low points, but hey, it's great to have my chakras rebalanced.
Cool new guy alert! We made a super cute Ari pillow available now. Look at this big man, he is huge and super soft and awesome. Head over to JaidenAnimations.com to pick one up, I genuinely love him so much. Also, I've been streaming a lot more recently and wanted to say the influx in art from all of that has absolutely blown me away. Thank you guys all so much. I try to see all of it, but it's quite literally impossible. But yes, thank you. Alright, until next time, bye bye!
Okay, before I even say anything, let's lay out some ground rules. This is probably gonna be the most open I'll ever get about my personal life. I know I've shared tidbits of myself and life through little stories, but when it comes to personal stuff, I'm very private. Especially within the past few years. I'm gonna be talking in very general surface level terms because specific personal details are for me to know, and in the nicest way possible, none of your business. Basically, this is something I want to talk about, share, and bring a spotlight to. But at the same time, you get the Cliff Notes version. So no trying to assume or guess anything beyond what I'm sharing within this video. At the end of the day, we're all just strangers refusing to listen to the stranger danger rule. Alright, formalities aside, let's get into it. I've come to realize that I'm aro-ace, which stands for aromantic asexual. And I know what you're thinking. That's not gay, what the hell is that? And you know what? That is completely fair, because I didn't know what that was either. Aromantic and asexual are two different things, and I'm gonna break them down to you separately, starting with aromantic because no one really knows what that one is. And also, it's my personal favorite. Someone who's aromantic is defined as a person who feels very little to no romantic attraction to anyone at all. So like, they might not develop crushes on people or feel the need to be in a romantic relationship with anyone. Very general terms, but hopefully you kinda get the gist. If not, here's a little story example from me. Growing up, I never developed crushes on anyone. I remember when I was in 5th grade, kids were talking about their crushes left and right, and it was starting to feel like something I had to experience too, just because I thought that's just what happens. Don't make fun of 9-year-old me, I was a sheep. Anyway, I decided I needed to have a crush because that's just what happens to people. And I very robotically chose this random kid in the class who we can call Pikachu. That's not his name. He didn't mean anything to me and I didn't do anything about this crush. Like, I didn't tell anyone or anything. It was just a headcanon thing for me to feel up to speed and like I was hitting my normal human emotions quota. But it's funny because on Valentine's Day, you know how in elementary school everyone would bring cheesy Walmart Valentine's cards for everyone in the class, and then you'd have a box full of candy and hollow emotions from everyone. Well, my school did that. When I went through my box, I pulled out Pikachu's Valentine and thought to myself, someone who has a crush on someone would keep this. I think. So I put Pikachu's copy-paste Batman Valentine in my drawer and promptly forgot about it because it meant nothing to me, but hey, that's just what I thought I was supposed to do. Man, I'm so good at this. Then like a year or so later, when my mom was going through my room, she pulled out the card and was like, why do you have this? And I was like, honestly, I have no idea. Years passed, I entered junior high and thought to myself, all right, this is the time where people start developing crushes and then do something about it. Like get into relationships or something. So I was like preparing to be interested in people. On the first day of school, I scoped out the room to see if there was anyone that I thought looked like someone I could develop a crush on. And this was when classes started being divided up into periods. So there were like 6 batches of people I sifted through, but no one caught my eye. And I thought, man, unlucky. Went through the whole school year, next year rolled around, classes changed, I did the same potentials crush scoping again, and the same thing happened. I wasn't drawn to anyone at all. Man. Unlucky again. Every year I thought something would change, especially going into high school when people started actually hitting puberty and were getting conventionally attractive. But my entire school life, grades kindergarten to senior year, which I'm pretty sure is like 13 years, I wasn't interested in a single person throughout any of it. And what's funny was I was thinking, man, what's the deal? Why is no one attractive? And I went to a big high school. There were like 3,500 students there. Surely I am not the outlier in this formula. Why are none of you attractive? By the time I was going to college, I really felt like I had to find someone. It felt like I was falling behind the curve, or if I was gonna find someone, it was gonna have to happen now. I made a lot of new friends, and that's when I thought I developed my first genuine crush. Long story short, in hindsight, no, it wasn't a crush, and I was just wrong. I just met someone who I thought was cool and funny and had a really strong desire to be close to them. But looking back, knowing what I do now, it wasn't in a romantic way. I realized I can get very excited and tunnel vision on people I think are really cool or interesting, and kind of obsess over getting to know them or just want to spend a lot of time with them. But whenever I got into those tunnel vision moments, if I sat down and asked myself if I actually wanted to be in a relationship with them and hold hands or cuddle or kiss, the answer was not really, but if they wanted to, I could go along with it. Which I do not think is right. In my very old flirting video, which I refuse to rewatch, I think at one point in it, I said something along the lines of, if you're interested in someone but they just want to be friends, I don't understand why some people can't deal with that. And that was primarily because I didn't realize there was an emotional difference between a crush or falling in love and just being really good friends with someone. So, oops, sorry for the bad take, I think. I really just thought having a crush on someone was wanting to be their number one best friend. Look, I said don't make fun of me. To me, it used to feel like if I was wanting to become friends with someone to that high of a degree, that would be the next step or justify why I wanted to put this much time, effort, and energy into one person. And it didn't feel right or even fair going through all of this with someone and then tell them they're just a friend. I don't know, it just didn't feel like it made sense, even though I really didn't technically see them in a romantic way. I just didn't understand what was going on really, or that there was supposed to be real emotions instead of a logical understanding of steps. And the fact that I was under the assumption that I was supposed to be interested in people in a romantic way didn't help with anything. I always preferred to stay good friends, but never felt like I could have that, and I worried that if I said no, that we would just start drifting apart, which I obviously didn't want either. It's been a very long journey discovering this about myself. Everything I'm saying has all been extremely subconscious and not understood or defined for many years. I even used to think I was bi or pan for the longest time because I would think to myself, well, bi is being interested in both genders. I don't really care for either, but 0 is equal to 0, so I guess I'm bi or pan. I got math involved. If I knew what aromanticism was when I was growing up, things would have been a lot less complicated for me a lot sooner. I think it's mainly because people don't really talk about it or even know what it is or that it's real. Romance and love is the #1 most talked about topic on the planet. Everything I've been taught or learned through society is that love and romance is everywhere. Everyone feels it, and it's gonna happen to you. Just a funny little note, there was a point where I was listening to some generic romance song on the radio. You know, like all of them. And I just suddenly thought to myself, wait, do people actually feel these things towards each other? Like all these mushy lyrics are real emotions? They're not joking? And that's when I started feeling like something was different. I approached romance under the blanket term thought of, sure, why not? and didn't recognize it was actually a feeling, which might sound stupid, but look, I don't know. No one presented me with any other options. I did a lot of rationalizing. If someone ever expressed romantic interest in me, I would mentally make a kind of logical list of their pros and cons and the pros and cons of what a relationship would look like with them based on what I knew about them as a person. I didn't realize there was supposed to be an extra, like, excited feeling, or the fact that you're not supposed to think about it as if it were a business exchange. I understand compatibility is a huge important variable when it comes to sharing a relationship with someone, but at the end of the day, it's still, apparently, still a very emotionally driven thing. And I literally had to make that discovery and teach it to myself. Now, I'm gonna talk about being asexual very briefly, and I'm gonna preface it with, let's all just be mature about this, alright? We're all pretending to be adults here. I've got my eye on some of you. Behave! Okay, this is definitely treading into uncomfortable personal boundary territory for me, but yeah, I do want to share that I'm asexual too, which is defined as someone who feels little to no intimate attraction to anyone. Look, I know we said we're all adults, but I'm still gonna dance around the vocabulary, alright? Yes, there's a difference between romantic and intimate attraction. Little side note, I will say you can experience romantic attraction to someone but no intimate attraction, or you can experience intimate attraction but no romantic attraction. You can be one and not the other. It's not necessarily a package deal. Most people feel both, and I do not feel either. Anyway, I have never been magnetically attracted to the look or shape of a single person in my entire life, and did not realize it was a real thing until very recently. I'm able to identify when someone looks conventionally attractive, like by textbook definition, but I never realized people are genuinely drawn to people they think are attractive. I didn't know that people could just see someone and be like, wow, they're gorgeous. I would love to get to know that person, or maybe go on a date with them, or whatever else you people do. I didn't think it was real. I thought people were exaggerating or something. I don't know. And I also couldn't believe that some people feel that with multiple people. Or like celebrities, which sounds absolutely exhausting. It ties back to when I was in school, like looking around for people to like. It makes sense now that no one caught my eye because that doesn't happen to me. I was just wasting my time for 13 years. I feel like such a fool. Now, there's an easy assumption to make about asexual people and that they all have zero interest in being intimate with anyone at all, which actually isn't true. Some of them are genuinely turned off by it, and some aren't. Some reasons would be that they just don't mind it, or they want to make their partner happy, or enjoy the emotional closeness of it. There's a million different reasons and a million different people. Am I sharing what kind of a people I am? Nope. And you don't know me personally enough in the slightest to be able to try and parasocially analyze where I stand on that spectrum. I'm just here to say I am this. We are moving on. When I stumbled onto the term aro ace and started realizing I fall into that category, it helped me feel much more confident and sure of myself. I've read a lot about how people say they felt broken or that something was wrong with them. But honestly, I was the complete opposite. Coming from my very biased perspective, I think aro ace is one of, if not the coolest and most confident orientations out there. Not needing a single gram of romantic or intimate validation from anyone is so cool. All you need is yourself to be happy, maybe friends and family too. And birds. The more I came to terms with the fact I'm aro ace, the more empowered and capable I felt. But at the same time, I was also starting to feel more alone and isolated. As cool and amazing and unique and awesome as I think it is, it can be really hard for other people to relate to or even understand. Everyone else and their orientations are able to bond and relate to the love and romance aspects, and we're over here like, we don't do that. I don't even know if I'm explaining it very well. It kind of does go against everything everyone's ever been taught about anything. Romance is taught to be a basic assumed emotion, which I do think is a bit misleading. A common argument used against the aro ace orientation is that romance and intimacy is what makes someone human. But I mean, I don't know, lots of birds mate for life, which is a better ratio than people, and all animals get frisky. You know, that's just how they became not extinct. It's not an exclusive to humans thing. If I were to guess, I would assume the thing that makes someone human is basic empathy. Like, I'm not an emotionalist monster. I can still love people. I love my family and my pets, just platonically. And I would hope that you're the same. I just don't experience romantic love, which, I don't know, I don't think that's harming anyone. Definitely not me. I'm having the time of my life. I don't think you need to be in a relationship to be happy. And if you don't want to be just on your own, I think there's many types of people in relationships that push the boundaries of what a conventional relationship looks like. Telling someone that they need to be in a romantic relationship to be happy and fulfilled is weird. And then when that person says they're not happy, they're told relationships take a lot of work and that's just how it goes. And that's also weird. I don't know. I also think it's weird that once someone reaches a certain age, people inherently start thinking it's sad they're not in a romantic relationship or assume they're lonely and sad. No one thinks a child is sad and lonely just because they're not in a long-term relationship. I don't know. I don't get it. And I also think I'm rambling. At the end of the day, it's all very complicated to talk about these things, especially because I don't know the feelings I'm supposed to be feeling, let alone talk about. I just know for me, the terms aromantic and asexual are able to articulate things I was subconsciously feeling and thinking before I even realized I was feeling and thinking them. I don't plan on talking about this very much, if at all, ever again. I just want to play my silly little video games, maybe tell a story here or there. But I wanted to bring the orientations to the surface and try to get more representation out there because I thought if I could help more people become more aware of this, then that would be awesome. I was confused as hell for a while and could have used something like this. It's a real thing. You don't have to feel any sort of romance or whatever to be considered a real person. Personally, I think it's really cool and badass. And don't be afraid to look more into aromanticism or asexualism if any of what I said in this video resonated with you to any degree. Like I said, this is all very surface level stuff. They're both much larger spectrums than you'd think, and maybe you fall under some umbrella category with them. I don't know. Or not. Either way, this has all been my personal experience with this stuff. Is there more for me to figure out within it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. It can get pretty complicated and confusing. Haha, awesome. Will I be sharing any of that with you? Nope, no way. This is all you get. Hope you can understand even just a little of what I talked about. And if not, that's totally fine. I just hope you can be nice.
Thanks for listening. I never really intended on making this video because I haven't really felt a strong urge to, like, I don't like using this phrase for myself, but come out. But I did end up wanting to make the video to make people more aware of this stuff because I think it's important and someone has to. There's not really that many people doing it right now. Anyway, yeah, just moving forward, I guess. See you later. As of now, Jaiden Animations is officially 10 years old. Yes, I know I technically made the channel in February, but shut up, I don't count that. On July 23rd, 2014, I uploaded my first ever animation to YouTube.
Hey everyone, my name is Jaiden, and welcome.
Alright, that's enough, you get the point. It's kind of old news that a lot of content creators have started retiring, especially after hitting the old 1-0. Making content on YouTube for 10 years has significantly changed the entire trajectory of my life. I started Jaiden Animations when I was 16. At the time, I was super shy, quiet, anxious, knew nothing about the world. I could count the number of friends I had on one finger. But not in a sad way, I liked my simple little life. For the longest time, I didn't even realize YouTube had channels or that people were uploading things like vlogs and series and skits. I mean, it was definitely less established at the time compared to now, but I saw YouTube as just the place to watch funny cats and compilations of people getting hit in the crotch. The way I found out about this whole online world was after coming home from school one day to find my laptop not turning on. Meaning, I couldn't play Minecraft anymore. We've all been there, it's tragic. To satisfy my desperate Minecraft hyperfixation, I typed Minecraft into the YouTube search bar to see if anyone just so happened to upload any Minecraft-related videos. And oh, were there people uploading Minecraft-related videos. My world expanded exponentially at that very moment. YouTube channels, subscribers, people uploading content for an audience that looks forward to their videos. The first channel I ever subscribed to was a Minecraft YouTuber who
I don't even, I'm blanking on the name, but I was now aware of YouTube as an actual community beyond funny fail compilations. Watching videos became a huge part of my day-to-day life. I'd put stuff on when I wanted to relax, laugh, needed background noise. If I was having a tough day, I would lock myself in my bathroom, lay on the floor, and watch videos on my phone, and I'd feel better. Even before making content myself, YouTube was an essential part of my life. I branched out from Minecraft to general gaming videos, even the occasional vlog series, until I stumbled upon a very special video in my suggested feed. An animated story time from a YouTuber called Domix. It was his emails video. I remember it so clearly. After watching it, I immediately binged his whole channel. I loved his animated stories. They made me laugh so much. For the first time ever, I thought to myself, I want to do stuff like that. I want to animate. And around the same time, I was really into Aya's Cupquake's Minecraft Oasis series and had even sent in a few fan arts I drew for her. She posted a couple at the end of her videos, which genuinely made me so extremely happy. I was totally freaking out. Anyway, in one of the episodes, she mentioned that she wanted to find an animator to animate some of her funny Minecraft moments. And suddenly, I saw the stars align in front of me. I sent her a little message attached to another fan art, basically saying, "Hi Cupquake, I'd love to animate for you if you're interested." And she ended up reaching out and was like, "Hey, we love your style and would love to work with you. Do you have an animation portfolio we can look at?" To which I responded with, so I've never actually animated before. But I'm learning, and honestly, they shouldn't have hired me. I wouldn't have hired me. But somehow I had secured my first animation job. And for my favorite YouTuber, this was by far the biggest thing to ever happen to me at the time. I wanted to make the best animation they could ever ask for. Now, I just had to learn how to animate. No joke, I literally typed "how to animate" and Adobe Flash tutorial into the YouTube search bar. That's how I learned. No class or school or nothing. I vividly remember opening Adobe Flash for the first time and wishing I could just skip forward in time to when I already knew how to even use the program because I was so confused. Humble beginnings, what can I say? And honestly, that's all it takes. People ask me all the time how I learned to animate, how I do this and that, what program to use. But you already have the biggest source of free online information at your fingertips. Just type whatever you want to learn into the search bar and people will literally teach it to you, no strings attached. While working on the animation for Cupquake and her husband Red, I talked to them about how I also wanted to make YouTube videos, that I wanted to animate little stories but was too nervous. They were both really supportive and encouraging, saying they'll put a link to my channel in the description of the animation to help me and stuff. I'll be completely honest, if Cupquake and Red didn't hire me and offer to help give me that initial push to start a YouTube channel, I wouldn't have made Jaiden Animations. Like I mentioned, I was quiet and soft-spoken. I didn't even get picked on because nobody knew anything about me to bully me with. They had nothing. In what world would a tiny little 16-year-old dust mite of a girl feel confident enough to start an animation YouTube channel where she talks about her life? Especially for what would be a single-digit amount of people for who knows how long. I'll tell ya, she does it in a world where she feels encouraged and inspired by the people she looked up to. There's so many timelines where none of this ever happened. So much had to come together just for me to start. And against all odds, it did. I finished the animation, they posted it, and I spent pretty much the entire month reading every single comment. Everyone loved it. It was doing really well. I remember messaging Cupquake a giant soppy thank you paragraph when the video hit 1 million views. By the way, the entire animation was made on only 3 layers because any more would make my brain confused. I genuinely cannot believe they hired me. At the same time, I posted my very first video as Jaiden Animations, introducing myself and announcing that I'm gonna try out making animation videos. It's funny looking back at because if you don't know all the context, you'll watch my first video and be like, who is this dumbass talking to? She just started the channel. There's no audience yet. The shout out Cupquake gave me in the description gave me the boost I needed to shake the second thoughts. I gained 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers right out the gate, and ever since then, I wanted to keep making more content, and I was really, really excited about it. I made more animations for Cupquake for a couple years alongside posting my own stupid little videos until eventually parting ways with them to focus entirely on Jaiden Animations. Working with them was amazing, and those animations did overwhelmingly well at the time. Like, I look back and am still shocked. I apparently peaked with that damn 2014 FNAF animation. Come on, Nuzlocke. Surpass it, please. Free me from these shackles. By this time, I was in college now, and even though I wasn't able to post very much at all, things were doing really well. I remember sitting on the top of my dorm bunk, secretly celebrating hitting 100,000 subscribers, a milestone I was beyond thrilled about, and honestly was my biggest goal at the time. Somehow, my roommate ended up finding out about it and immediately told every single person on our floor, which embarrassed the hell out of me. But at the same time, I was sheepishly proud of myself that people thought what I was doing was cool. Along with new experiences, for the first time ever, I was making online friends and becoming part of a growing little animation community. Cypher Den, Tony V Toons, Lightsen. I even stumbled onto James randomly after being recommended his ASMR video. I specifically remember going through his channel and thinking, I can't believe this guy doesn't have more subscribers. He's so funny. And welp, would you look at that. After finishing my first year in college, I ended up talking to my parents about taking a gap year to see where all this YouTube stuff could go. They were, of course, hesitant at first. Making videos on YouTube for money? Can you even do that? But eventually agreed and have been my biggest fans ever since. I was officially doing YouTube full time. I don't really know what happened, but a few months later, James started blowing up. In our little animation group chat, we were like, whoa, James, congrats. What's happening? And he was like, I don't know. Oh my God. And then I started blowing up too. And suddenly the entire Storytime animation community was rising and thriving. It felt like we were strapped onto a rocket heading straight for the stars. People really loved watching Storytime animation. We went to our first ever VidCon and there was a whole line of people that wanted to meet us, which is a crazy experience for our first convention ever. Since then, everything has kind of just been history. I kept posting, obviously, met new people, made incredible friends, started building my own animation team, learned a lot about the world, but most of all, being on YouTube forced me to grow thicker skin. I'm sure most of you can relate to some degree. Mindless hate, online arguments, people nitpicking and speculating that you're actually a horrible human being. Because of how normalized posting content is now with TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, I'm sure everyone has gotten their fair share of the hate hammer, but 10 years ago, it was pretty much only big online personalities who were familiar with it, and it comes at you pretty fast. Suddenly, you have to figure out how to hide your personal information and tell family members to private their Facebook accounts, which they don't know how to do. Scary emails come in, uncomfortable comments, lots of uncomfortable comments. I got doxxed one time because someone speculated I was a narcissistic liar because I claimed to be shy and introverted, but would get loud sometimes when reading scripts. Also, fun fact, I never planned on being public with my full name, but the reason it got leaked is because my old high school published an online article about my channel and dropped the full government without my permission. I'm still pissed about that one. And I know, this is genuinely what you just have to expect when you make content online. It's awful, but it's the truth. I didn't want to quit, so I adapted to the horrible things awful videos made about me for attention. There's nothing a passerby hate comment can say that could surprise me anymore. If anything, they're all the same and it's just annoying at this point. Not saying I'm happy that I went through all of it and it should have happened. People can be genuinely awful. But I'd like to say I've come out of it all a version of myself that wouldn't have existed otherwise. Not because of all the shitty things, but in spite of them. I've learned how to stand up for myself, grew my confidence, learned how to separate myself from my work and not take comments personally. All things you learn out in the world over time as you grow up. But cranked to 100 and during the most insecure years of a person's life. It was hard, but hey, I'm still here, aren't I? I look back and see my mistakes, bad takes, stupid ideas, regret here and there. It's overwhelmingly stressful to grow up and learn and change while in the public's eye, even more now than ever. But all things considered, I believe I was always trying my best in the position I was in, was constantly trying to be the best person I could be, and I won't ever be upset at myself for that. Also, I do want to say, a big thing that's followed me throughout almost my whole career at this point is the fact that yeah, I've talked about mental health and things I've struggled with at the time, like anxiety, depression, rock bottom confidence, etc., etc. I've definitely spilled my guts out on the floor in front of the internet a couple times in my day, and there's no part of me that regrets it at all. A lot of people have told me that they felt more understood or learned things about themselves through those videos, but as a now adult that's had the time to grow and adapt and overcome these things, man, you guys kind of still think I'm a little bit pathetic. I see comments all the time when I'm in my friends' videos or being involved in a big event, and so many people go, wow, I can't believe how far Jaiden's come from being this puny little scared teenager. I'm so proud of Jaiden really stepping out of her comfort zone here. She is just so brave for showing her face after dealing with such low confidence. That one's always funny because it can definitely come off like I should still be self-conscious, which I'm not, by the way. I get what those comments are saying, I really do. But guys, not everything I do has to be brave. I'm just doing fun things with friends on camera. We don't need the 24/7 Jaiden cheer squad busting out the trophies and medallions every single time. And we also don't need the Jaiden defense squad scrapping with anyone that says anything non-positive about me. It's the internet. People have the right to not like me for whatever reason. I promise, it's okay. I'm an adult. I'm doing fine. I appreciate the concern. At this point, it just comes across like I'm very pathetic and puny and can't do anything. Now, somehow, a decade has passed. I'm not the tiny, small 16-year-old who's afraid of everything and can't talk out loud for more than 15 minutes without straining her throat. That's true, by the way. I spent 15 minutes recording audio for my first video and my throat was dead afterwards. It was pathetic. Now I can record for an hour, which still hurts my throat. You can probably hear it, but that's a 400% improvement right there. I'm 26, created hundreds of hours worth of content, have the most wonderful team in the world behind me, am surrounded by amazing friends, live with the most important person in my life, with the most important little creatures in my life. I've gotten to meet content creators I've looked up to, got to tour and travel the world with talented friends, talk on panels to hundreds of people who wanted to hear what I had to say, been able to tell the people that inspired me how big of a role they've played in my career, and even got to stand next to them as an equal. I'm happy. Sure, it's always been and still is difficult dealing with the stress of being in a big spotlight. I went through some bad stuff, navigated rocky mental health, trusted people that hurt me, had to pretend not to be affected by things that were genuinely hurtful just to not empower people that wanted to see me break, all while in the eye of the public where one wrong step could crumble everything I've ever created. But I'm really happy with the place I'm at, the person I've become, and the environment I've built around me. So, what's that leave me with now? A full decade, man. Damn. 10 years of the most difficult, enjoyable, terrifying, exciting, stressful, grateful, soul-crushing, unforgettably special moments of my life. How lucky and grateful I am to have the privilege to say I've gotten to experience so many impossible things, to have so many dreams created and come true, to see myself persist through such a difficult position to be in. After taking a lot of time reminiscing and thinking about what could come next, the direction I want to take to follow what could keep making me happy, I've come to accept that YouTube isn't gonna be part of it. I'm happy with what I've accomplished. I had my rise and grind years. I experienced real and true passion. That's all I could really ask for here. There's not much else I want to do beyond it at this point. But before you freak out, I'm not quitting right this moment. I still absolutely love making content and still have the desire to keep making videos. But my YouTube years are numbered now. I fantasize about logging off as Jaiden Animations and becoming a normal person again. I want to move to a random ass town in a random ass place, have a little house with my creatures, have a normal job with normal hours and normal problems, live a life where people don't know who I am before I introduce myself. Not saying I don't like being recognized. You can come up to me, I promise. I don't mind. But eventually I just want to feel like a person again. Normal is rapidly changing nowadays, but I don't want this chronically online lifestyle forever. How nice it would feel to one day not have to triple check every single thing I say in fear of people's pitchforks, or fear for my safety when people maliciously leak my private information, or even be constantly surrounded by strangers' opinions on me and every version of myself I've ever been, every moment of my life. I hold it all together pretty well, I'd say. I mean, it's my job to. And none of these negatives have and ever will outweigh the positive aspects of this incredible opportunity that you guys have allowed me to have. I don't want to come across like I'm complaining. I very much understand this is just unfortunately part of it all, and I'm very privileged and very grateful. But I can't do it forever. And I don't want to. I want to feel like I have the time and mental energy to pursue new hobbies, experiment with other things that can make me happy. Making content for YouTube never leaves my head. It's the case for every single content creator on the platform. There's no clocking out, there's no weekends, there's no breaks. You can't just leave an office and not think about it. You're constantly brainstorming ideas, managing everything, schedules, employees. Sure, you can work and live anywhere you want, go on vacation at any point, build your own schedule, but it's always there. Like a black hole in your mind. It's just so exhausting. I haven't felt like I can sit back and enjoy something in 10 years because I simply do not have the time if it isn't for a video. Yeah, that's just how self-employment works, but don't forget about all the other fun stuff I've already mentioned on top of it all. I don't know what I want to do career-wise after retiring from YouTube, but I romanticize the idea of just getting to rediscover myself. Maybe I want to learn how to make custom plushes and open my own little shop, take art commissions, be a teacher, maybe an art director. It's gotten to the point where I think about that little life every day, and I'm actively aiming and walking towards it with every decision I make. Oh, let me tell you, I genuinely cannot wait to live it one day. But there's this other side of me that's so terrified. I've spent my entire young adult life in front of an audience doing pretty much one thing. I don't know what it's like to live without a platform, surrounded by a huge audience anymore. It scares me, like a lot. I don't want to need this, but I'm scared that I do in some way. When the time comes, I'll definitely work on that fear in therapy or something, but I do think about it a lot. I'm not done with YouTube just yet. I still want to make animations and tell stories, animate little gaming videos. I still just love it so much, and I'm not going away just yet. Sorry to disappoint some of you. I just wanted to let you guys know how grateful I am that you've helped me be right here. I've gotten to meet hundreds of people who told me how much they liked my videos, felt inspired, discovered something about themselves, even did something as small as laugh at one of my stupid ass jokes. I can't wrap my head around the idea that a lot of you grew up watching my videos and are like functioning people in society now. That one always feels like, I know you're not calling me old, but you're calling me old. I'm grateful for all the art people have drawn for me. Even now, it's still so surreal. From the cute little doodles from kids to jaw-dropping, fully rendered pieces from artists of all ages. Like, you guys are better artists than me at this point. What do you mean I inspired you? Why does my art look like that then? The whole reason I show fan art at the end of my videos is because I look back at the feeling I got when Cupquake put my art in her videos, and I want to be able to give that back to other artists. People have told me they watch my videos to laugh, listen to while working, to feel better after a crummy day. All the ways I used to consume YouTube back in my day. Even though it's easy for me to tell myself, they're just little stupid videos I make. What's the big deal? It kind of also feels like I get to contribute to a cycle I used to be on the other side of and pay it back. I don't know, it just feels good knowing I've made stuff that's made people feel better in a way that other content creators used to make me feel better. I've rambled quite a bit, but thank you for letting me make these silly videos for 10 years. I never would have thought any of this could have happened to little old me, and definitely not for this long. I absolutely thought I would have been tossed aside and forgotten by now. I look back at when things were starting to roll, and I was like, I've got like a 3-year shelf life left. I'm forever grateful for you, my friends, my family, my team. I don't know what my life would have looked like if I didn't type Minecraft into the YouTube search bar when I was 14. Who knows how much more time we have with each other, but just know it has been and still is an honor to be here. And until then, I'll be doing my best to keep doing what I've been doing for 10 years and just make these silly little animations.
You know, the timing is a little awkward to have just won a giant MrBeast YouTuber challenge that put a lot of eyes on my channel, only for the first thing for me to put out since winning is me talking about how I'm really tired and want to retire one day. That was not intentional, I'm sorry. But yes, the next video coming out will be about me winning the MrBeast Cube. We're still working on getting the money all set up to be given away, so you can stop emailing me asking for money. It's not gonna work like that. Anyway, thank you to everyone who's been with me at any point of my YouTube career. I've still got a little bit more juice left in the tank. I'm forever lucky to have lived the life I have and to continue living that life. And I appreciate you guys for sticking around. I'm excited to spend a bit more time with you all. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Where are we going?
We're going to VidCon.
Yay!
Woo!
We wanted to record the sign of Welcome to California because we're in California now, but we were busy watching Treasure Planet.
Yeah, we just looked up like, oh, there it is.
4 minutes now. Now if you can get around this
Except practicing.
Playing Tetris in the car, even on a phone, he's still
pretty boss.
Windmill Forest. Look at him go. Keep it up, friends. You're doing good.
Yep.
Loki. Oh, hello. Just got in the hotel. This is pretty cool. And then they gave me a bag. I don't know what's in it. A bag, and it says Tumblr, even though I don't have a Tumblr. Oh, I got a camera? Wait, what is this? Yeah.
Not for me.
Look, here's the camera.
You should film on that now.
So there's like stuff in here too. There's a Tumblr hat.
Ooh.
Here, wear this for me.
I have a Tumblr.
That's, yeah, you deserve it more than I do. Alright, we're gonna find people.
We're gonna do it.
James is wearing my hat.
Yes.
Because I'm not worthy of it. We're gonna go find the squad. This is gonna be awesome.
Yes. It's happening.
Oh my god. We got our passes. Fancy, fancy. I'm not supposed to be in this area because it's public, but I mean, whatever.
Don't tell anyone.
Shush, 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 shush. We're trying to find Tony. We're on the phone with them. This is hype. We're so close, but so far.
Right?
Tony!
Are you
Oh my god, I am vlogging.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. It just found us. Oh my god. What's your name? You're the first person we ever met here.
Like, we just got here like 5
This is so real.
Yes.
Tying a shoe. And we found Dan! Yay! Now we don't know what to do. Don't walk away from us.
I look right in the sun now. I can't see anything.
Oh, there it is. Perfect timing. That's for you guys. I already ate.
Yeah.
Let's go find somewhere to sit. We couldn't find a spot to eat. So we're sitting in grass. Like peasants.
Right, we're talking about.
This is James's room.
There's VidCon over there. I can see
You can see VidCon from here. James, explain. Oh, you can see someone in the thing there.
Oh god.
Ooh, spooky.
Oh.
James, explain what just happened in the elevator.
So I was bleeding out of my hand, just because, I was, being a weirdo, just messing around. And then Jax Films, just went in the elevator with us, and, my hand was all bloody. I was like, oh, hey, I really love your videos. And I was like, I make videos too. It's whatever. And I told him, and I was like really worried he'd like try and shake my hand, and I'd be like, but he didn't do that.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna
we
agree
like
with that.
talked to Jack, and Tony wasn't there.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry,
I
Tony.
don't like these people.
Are these things $1,500?
Well, we never know.
The world may never know. Look who's here! Oh, it's not everything. Yay! We're in James' room. And we got the bags. The bags. Just talked to the people and now he's gonna juggle with them.
It's crazy. I wish I was Alex.
I wish I knew how to juggle.
His name is Alex too.
Wow! Leaving the animation squad for the Alex squad. Go, Alex!
Oh.
And when I say Alex, I mean both of you.
Tony here?
We don't know where Tony went. He's gone forever.
What? Okay. Yeah.
Woo! Explain your emotions.
It was a very weird view.
Confess your love for your favorite YouTube star.
Captain Sparkles.
Captain.
I love you, Captain.
We're all taking a break because we're really tired. We actually just saw a follower.
You should like have it when followers are actually there.
That'd be kind of weird. I feel like that's really awkward. Like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Shoves camera in face. I'm gonna film you, and then I'm gonna film Mark and Jack. But we're getting food. We're getting food.
At the cool kid lunch table.
Yeah, we're in the backstage because we were able to get in. No one's allowed back here, but people. So only some people.
I kind of want to like go to Jackson's.
You're not bleeding this time.
Not bleeding this time.
Oh my god! Look at this freaking line! What are we doing? This is crazy. Oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing here. Down. Oh my god. Who's that? Dashing Asian. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. It's Dom. What do you have to say?
It's me. Hi, I'm Jaiden.
Face reveal. Face reveal.
Jaiden face reveal. Oh shoot. We're taking a break from VidCon. That was crazy. We signed for like 2 hours almost.
Yeah.
Ah! Oh, it's slippery. This is all ice. Oh, there you go. Yay.
See him?
Smash my red card.
Who let us in here? We play a bean game, but no one knows how to play except Alex.
Yeah.
He's trying to
Now you gotta
explain,
trade.
but no one understands. Tony's been boozled. Bean boozled. Double bean boozled.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tony's got the fizzy drink bean and
Garden
the
beans?
blue bean that he traded. And it was a bad trade.
You have a garden bean.
Apparently.
Maybe.
No one, you're proud of your what?
My deck.
Yeah, we're still playing, and I kind of get it now. But look at all my wax beans.
Thanks.
I'm the wax bean master.
Okay, my turn. Boom.
We just walked into all the meet and greets because we have good passes. James is on the hunt for Captain Sparkles. He's having a meet and greet sign thing right now.
I don't know who. I don't know which number.
We don't know where it is.
like
We just walked in and people let us.
Hey.
Oh, hi. Oh, hello. We're gonna find Captain Sparkles.
One of these days. You probably might have even walked past him.
Yeah, we actually haven't been paying attention. We'll find him. The hunt is on. There he is.
And where is Cool Cat? There he is.
He's right there. Oh, we also stole some Sharpies. We didn't mean to. We didn't know it was his. So we're waiting.
Yeah, still waiting.
Still waiting for Captain Sparkles. While we waited, we built this nice tower.
Oh, Jordan.
Yeah, we hope he likes it.
It comes out soon too.
Yeah, we've been waiting for a while.
I hope because your
James is
panels-
being nice. We literally have the passes to go up and cut everyone in line, but we have morals.
But like it would also be awkward to like everyone in the back of the line too.
Nice makeshift. I know. I saw that in the video. And there was a delay. Delayed getting his shirt. You. He works for Maker.
It wasn't me. This one, we don't even have this one. This is like
I didn't even see that.
sunglasses.
Oh, it finally happened, the moment. So we're like backstage right now with the panel, and I'm really nervous, but these guys aren't. And then we're talking about how some places believe in not giving out ranch dressing.
They just don't know. They don't believe in the sauce.
Yeah, it's strange. This is the conversation we use to prepare for this. Oh my god, I'm nervous. There he goes! Some say he's still going today. The whole squad's here. Oh my god, this is so awesome. Okay, we got some crazy stunts happening. Oh god.
Oh no.
Oh my god!
I like drove into the car. I almost died.
I asked him if he was gonna jump over this, and then he said yes. Oh my god.
No, oh no.
Oh! Yeah, dumb.
I will now jump over the arrow.
Oh, that was close. Oh!
I concede.
Oh, the champion remains. Sack the M&Ms. Oh, fail.
Want to kick it?
Ah!
Twice.
Oh, shoot! Look what's happening here.
This guy with 2 million.
What do you have to say?
Student becomes the teacher.
Oh my god. The lowest point of Dom's life. Is it good?
It's great. That is the best shoe tie
Rate
I've
the
ever
shoe
felt.
tie 10 out of 10.
I actually want him to redo the other one.
Look who we just ran into. Oh my gosh. It's so good to finally. I never even like met them before. And then like, oh my gosh. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh, it's so awesome. Almost 2 years working with you guys. We finally got to meet at VidCon.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Yay. We're about to go to Disney. Yay. We're eating food. Oh, I thought you were going to give me a... Yeah. James is on his, what, 4th orange juice?
I paid $6 for this OJ.
He's getting his money's worth out of orange juice. Oh my god.
Okay, so I paid for orange juice. It was $6. I was like shocked, and I like drank like 5 glasses of orange juice, and then they didn't charge me for it.
It's true. I know it's hard to believe, but it's 100% true.
Wow. You just chugged 5 cups of orange juice for nothing.
It was for nothing, Tony. It was for nothing.
You're all so far apart, I can't get you in the shot. We just got to Disney.
Oh, we're not taking
Oh. I guess you can take a picture. Okay, so people will screenshot that. We just got to Disney, and now we're gonna have fun. This is our last day together, squad.
This is my fun face.
How beautiful it is. Oh, we're in. We're in the most magical Disney place on the earth of Disney magic. What?
My friend's over here. Look.
See, oh, I tripped on the railroad tracks.
Minnie. Mickey's all right, but Minnie is an excellent cook.
Minnie's a babe.
Yeah, she's a total hottie.
Ship Alex and Minnie.
Say what you want about everyone else, but
Malix.
she has some nice ears.
Look how cute. Oh, yes. Okay, we can go. That's all I wanted. If you just walk out with that, then I don't think they'll stop you. They're like, wow, look at that. Oh my god! Ah! Oh, I caught it. Here you go. That didn't happen. Cut that part out, Jaiden. We're here.
Disney!
Look at the horse!
No, we're looking at
No, I'm zooming in on the horse. Hold on.
Film me getting on the horse.
Film you
Without permission.
Film you getting on the horse. Film you stealing a horse at Disneyland.
I would die.
So much fun. Oh, it's so much fun. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alex is filming. Oh my god, behind the scenes. Oh my god, Disney.
Behind the scenes of behind the scenes.
Oh shoot.
Vlogception.
We just learned some secrets about Jaiden.
Yeah, we're gonna get on It's a Small World, and the only reason we're going is because when I was little, I cried on the entire thing because I was scared of the dolls, so we're just gonna see if I cry again.
He thinks, well, we got a bet here. Yeah, I think.
Oh yeah.
He thinks she's gonna cry.
Put in the comments, hashtag is Jaiden gonna cry on, I don't know, it's a long hashtag.
James are gonna cry together.
Oh my god, it's happening.
Jaiden gonna cry?
I feel it building up. Oh no!
Memories just coming back.
The flashbacks are happening already. We just got off the ride.
They have frozen stuff.
I only cried a little bit.
She didn't cry. I told you guys. I believed in her.
Whoever thought I would cry.
All the haters.
You all owe me $5. Ha! Yay! So we're at the Cheesecake Factory. Alex left. It's just the three amigos. Cookie dough.
Cookie dough.
Cheesecake.
Get it?
Yes.
Ready for this.
They have not been to the Cheesecake Factory before.
Oh yeah, neither of us.
Never been here, yeah.
And this is their first experience of heaven.
Do you like it? Out of 10. 25.
Oh! Oh! It's kind of blurry.
It tastes like cookie dough though. Like,
Yeah.
now you're gonna narrate.
Is it good?
Like cookie dough with like chocolate chips in it. Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. But it's still good, right?
Yeah, this is good.
Yay!
Who doesn't like cookie dough?
So I'm editing the vlog for the VidCon trip. Right now you can see that like I have it all. Yeah. I didn't script this. I that's a bad habit I'm starting to have. I'm not scripting anything until it's turning out crappy. I realized I forgot to record a proper outro. It kind of just ends on the cheesecake, and that's not really a satisfying ending. So I just want to say goodbye. This is the end of the video, and I want to say thank you to everyone. This trip was mind-blowing. Going in, I didn't know what to expect, but whatever I was expecting, it really surpassed anything I could have ever dreamt of, and I'm really thankful for you guys. I'm forever indebted to you. You guys are like, oh, thank you for making videos, and you make me smile so much, and you're such an inspiration. But I mean, you guys are really the ones that are helping me. So thank you so much. This trip surpassed anything I could have ever dreamt of. I mean, this was incredible. I never thought I would ever get to this point in anything in my entire life. You guys make me feel the happiest I've ever been. So, thank you for watching. I honestly love all of you. And yeah, see you next VidCon, I guess. Woohoo! Bye.
Dungeons & Dragons is like a board game without the board, and you play using your imagination. If you think of something, it can just happen in game. D&D is very popular. Almost everyone I've ever met absolutely loves it, and I have never played it before, even though I always thought I would really like it. People would tell me stories of their games, so this one time me and my party were entering a cave, and there was a big ogre guarding some treasure, but I used my charisma stat to seduce him, and we ended up eloping together. Dude, if you don't think that sounds crazy fun, then I don't think we would get along, and you should probably unsubscribe. But if you do think that sounds fun, then hey. Sorry, I've never done that before. It felt weird. I decided to reach out to Charlie, aka Slimesicle, aka Charlie Slimesicle, because he's super into D&D, and we ended up forming a little group of me, Alpharad, Ronbu as the players, and Charlie as the dungeon master, which is like the game organizer / manager / god. We all created our characters, and into the world we were teleported. The clouds part over a vast, lush forest. In it, a giant ancient oak tree can be found looming over all the other trees. The inside has been hollowed out, and a sign hangs on the side reading Old Oak Inn. Inside, many creatures of various origins are relaxing, drinking, socializing, but one stands out. A cat, equipped with various instruments, sits at a table, leaning over their cup of milk and scanning the room. They spot a dragonborn drinking at the bar, alone, seemingly pondering life. From the other end of the bar, a man in a suit approaches the dragon and starts a casual conversation. Do you know Mark? No, I don't. Who are you? I'm Paul. I'm an assistant manager at Ye Old Mart of Wall. 43 years old. My wife passed away during childbirth. My parents died. And my only child, Paul Jr., ran away at age 6. I'm living a deadbeat life, not even able to go up in the corporate ladder because my manager, Mark, prevents me from doing so. So here I am, drinking away my woes. I'm Zoot. Hi, excuse me. Are you two new around here? Born and raised. I wish I was. Okay, so I've been stuck in a time loop for what I believe to be the past 3 years. I've relived the same day over and over. I suspect my neighbor Thomas somehow trapped me here, but I don't know how to escape. I can prove it. Look, over there. In about 5 seconds, there's a 70% chance a waiter is gonna trip and drop their glasses onto the ground. Well, alright, it's a bit impressive, but, like, it's gonna take a bit more convincing because that wasn't all that. Suddenly, a sheep crashes through the tavern windows and starts rampaging around the inn. It's going straight up crazy, knocking over tables, knocking over people. Paul mentions it's got something in its mouth, and the sheep immediately stops and runs straight up to him. As Paul takes what seems to be a scroll out of the sheep's mouth, Zoot whips out their mace in an attempt to pepper spray the sheep, but slips on a puddle of rum and accidentally sprays Paul, who just is disappointed at this point. The three open the scroll, and Zoot, recognizing it's a speak with animals spell, translates it, casting a huge shockwave and blasting everything in its radius. Hello? Can you understand me now? Why the f did you try to spray me with mace? Zoot and the sheep start bickering as Paul and Tholomew just stare at them. Just forget it. I'm no ordinary sheep. I used to be human and was cursed into a sheep's body. My name is Luop, and I need your help becoming human again. Please. Alright, Lop. Well, it's Luop. Come on, guys, let's go. And for some reason, they all went along with it, still not understanding what the hell is going on. Maybe, they both thought, they could find their arch enemies, Mark and Thompson, along the way. The group is walking through the woods. Tholomew is very on edge, feeling like something isn't quite right. The tree line is shifting in unnatural ways. Oak trees are turning into birch. The bushes are rustling. Zoot spots various random animals along the path and picks up a turtle, which they add to their inventory. Paul tries to pocket a turtle of his own, but it turns out to be a rock, and is then mauled by a cougar. He ends up unharmed, though his adventure suit he changed into is now ruined. Zoot feels bad about Paul not getting a turtle, so they offer to let Paul name theirs, to which he chooses Paul Jr. They eventually reach a clearing with a large stone outcrop covered in engraved shifting runes. Carved into a stone is a large bronze door with a face on it. Hello! You should try to impress it. Oh, okay.
Answer me these riddles 3, and then you can come in. I'm a riddle door. The alphabet goes from A to Z, but I go from Z to A. What am I?
The alphabet backwards.
Wrong! The answer was zebra. Who is next? I move without wings, between silken strings. I leave, as you may find, my substance behind.
I'm gonna say a spider, because I got the butt strings.
Correct! You may pass.
Wait, but can you turn our friend back?
Oh yeah, double or nothing. Answer this next riddle, and your friend will be turned back. I creep and crawl with no eyes, legs, or ears, but I can move the earth with my peers. What am I?
Can you use it in a sentence?
The answer to the question?
Yeah, like spelling bee style.
Nice try, but you're not gonna worm your way out of this.
I think I picked up on it. I don't know if you noticed, but he said worm on accident. I'm very detail oriented.
Don't listen to him, he's a zebra.
Paul Jr., what do you think the answer is? Turtle. Turtle, final answer. It's a worm.
Correct.
The adventurers walk through the door's mouth, which closes behind them. As they're walking into an open room, they're greeted by a closed silver door. Zoot immediately pitches the turtle at the door, but nothing happens. There's 3 dishes of clay placed in front of 3 pedestals, and the door face emerges once again, this time on the ceiling.
In order to continue, create whatever you want.
Not wanting to deal with more riddles, Zoot throws a dagger into the door's eye.
Dude! Fine, I'm not helping you with this one.
The group, now lost with no direction, decides for some reason to all start eating the clay, even feeding some to Paul Jr. and Lwop against their wills. After all the clay has been consumed, the pillars glow red and more clay drops down from the ceiling, resetting the puzzle. Out of ideas, they decide to do what the door face suggested. Tholomew sculpts a crown, Zoot rolls out a worm, and Paul builds a penguin. They all place their creations on pedestals, which sink in and beam green before the lights turn out and everything goes dark. They flash back on and suddenly all their creations have come to life in weird clay flesh bodies. Paul cleaves at his penguin with a great axe, nearly cutting it clean in half, revealing that the inside is just more clay. The worm monster looks at Zoot and says, "It's wormin' time!" Causing Zoot to scream and sending a shockwave towards it, immediately exploding the worm and splattering clay everywhere, living as a normal-sized worm now. The worm lunges and wraps itself around Zoot's throat, trying to choke them out. Tholomew rips the arms off the crown monster and dodges its follow-up attack. The penguin reforms itself, sprints full speed at Paul, but slips and splats into a pile of clay on the ground, to which Paul finishes off with his axe. Meanwhile, Tholomew attempts to rip the legs off the crown, only for the crown legs to turn into arms, grabbing Tholomew and climbing onto their head, causing them to lose their mind, viewing the other party members as enemies. Paul shifts his attention to Tholomew, throwing his great axe horizontally at the crown. Unfortunately, it goes a bit low and the handle smacks Tholomew directly in the face. Zoot gets a grip on the worm, ripping it off their throat, and breathes acid onto it until it's reduced to ash. Tholomew blows on their bagpipes to attack Paul, sending out a thunderous shockwave that shakes the cavern. Paul is able to hold his ground, runs up to the 2, and successfully cleaves the crown off Tholomew's head. All the clay monsters have been defeated. The silver door opens, and everyone cheers together in celebration. The adventurers enter the new room to be greeted by wooden structures, spiral staircases, platforms, and a golden door at the very back wall. It looks like a camp is set up inside the area, and voices can be heard above on one of the platforms. Tholomew scans the area, looking for traces of their neighbor, Thompson. Not only do they discover a pack of goblins that have inhabited the area, but he also recognizes a familiar boot print in the clay. It's the same type Thompson wears. He's been here. Paul climbs up to the goblin platform and sparks conversation. The goblins are confused and a bit wary of the intruders, but introduce themselves nonetheless.
I'm Gob, that's Glob, that's Gobble, that's Gobble Gob, and that's the Peeler.
And who's that?
That's Bloyle.
So your names are Gob, Glob, Gobble, Gobble Gob, Peeler, and Bloyle?
The Peeler.
Got it. So your name is the Peeler. You don't know anything about Mark or Thompson.
I only know about one thing. And that's peeling! Yeah! Ah, great, there you go.
Oh, jeez. Okay, all right, we're leaving. Paul starts booking it to the door they came in through, the peeler right on his tail, stabbing at his ankles. No one else is doing or saying anything, they're just watching. Paul makes it back to the previous room, and the peeler slinks into the shadows. With Paul in the other room and Tholomew and Zoot unable to speak Goblin, Tholomew is left trying to communicate through improvised sign language, pointing at the door and blowing kisses at the goblins to signal peace. Zoot tries to slip around the goblins in the meantime, as communication is clearly not working and the goblins are only getting more aggressive, but they bump into an invisible force they can't see, alerting the goblins, who are now initiating combat. Zoot decides to keep running to the door as Tholomew bangs on their drums, sending sound shockwaves at the attacking goblins. Gob, Glob, and Gobble are all sent flying off the edge of the platform, falling to their deaths. Gobblegob, in a fit of rage after losing his friends, lunges at Tholomew but misses completely, sending himself off the edge of the platform too. The peeler emerges from the shadows to lunge at Tholomew, who is taking up Loyal, but Paul jumps in just in time, clashing blades with him. As everyone is distracted, Zoot gets to the door, peeking in to see an entirely golden room with a small golden rod shaped like a tree branch floating at the center. The branch shifts between valuable materials, at one moment being made of gold, then emerald, then ruby. Gobblegob, the goblin that accidentally dove off the side of the platform, sprints back up the stairs and attempts to tackle Tholomew off the platform, but accidentally leaps over him and plummets once again over the edge. This time to his demise. Paul and Tholomew perform a clumsy team attack together and finish off the peeler, ending the battle, but because of the uncoordinated attack, Paul's axe is now peeled. They all hurry over to Zoot and enter the golden room together, trying to figure out how to get the artifact down. Zoot suggests they all toss Lop into the air to get it down, so Paul Solongi Bowser's the sheep into the air, but in the complete opposite direction. Tholomew quickly runs over and breaks his fall, and before Lop can say anything, they throw him again, this time hitting their target as they both fall to the ground. No one stops Lop's fall this time as he lays motionless on the floor. As Tholomew is healing up Lop, Zoot approaches the wand, only for it to be snatched by an invisible force. An unseen figure then reveals itself. Well, hey there, neighbor. Oh, and Paul. It's me, your good friend, Mark Thompson. Tholomew, you ruined my life, spreading false rumors about me. You said I cursed you, and now no one wants to talk to me. My wife and kids left me, everyone avoids me, so I spent years becoming a dark wizard, and I'm gonna have my revenge. What about me? And you, Paul? Anyway, yeah! You all are gonna be spending the rest of your lives here in this shifted sanctum. I'll be going now. Tholomew quickly casts Locate Object on the wand Mark is now holding and throws ink in the general direction, hoping to reveal where Mark is, but unfortunately it doesn't land. Zoot sprints in the direction Tholomew indicated and attempts to tackle the air. They make contact, but bounce off of Mark's rock-solid beer gut, breaking the invisibility spell. Tholomew whips out their drums, slamming it with the intent to cast a Thunderwave on Mark, sending him flying from the impact. Zoot follows behind and shouts, "Depression!" casting a command spell on him. He stops in his tracks, facing Zoot, and says, "I'm so sad." Having never dealt with depression before, he pulls out a picture of his ex-wife and kids and just stares at it longingly. Paul and Tholomew see their chance to attack him and once again try to use an ultimate team attack. They grip Paul's peeled axe together and throw it in tandem at Mark. But once again, they mess up and Tholomew is accidentally sent flying with the axe as it pierces Mark's chest. Mark is unfazed, still wallowing in his depression, but Zoot sees this as an opportunity, casting Disguise Self and visually turning themselves into Mark's ex-wife. Ella, is that you? It is! Mark. Mark drops the photo and wand, sobbing, and slowly walks towards Zoot, who has their arms out, ready for his embrace. He grabs Zoot and pulls them close, tears streaming down his face. It's been so hard. It's okay. I'm here now. Zoot pulls back, just a bit, just to look into Mark's eyes, which are sparkling with tears, and proceeds to acid blast him point blank from the mouth. Mark is heavily damaged but alive, snapping back to reality and throwing Paul's axe to the ground. If I can't have the wand, no one can! Paul picks up one part of his peeled axe. Looks like the manager position just opened up. He throws the axe and hits Mark, but doesn't kill him. He then picks up the other peeled axe part to throw as well, but it boomerangs around and hits him in the back of the head. Bartholomew grabs the wand from the ground and points it at Mark. This is for everything. The low tax return, the restraining order for moving in next to me. You're my personal hell! Ah! Mark turns to Paul while being zapped by the wand. Would you still let me be your manager, even if I was a... You're fired. You guys did it! Please, use the wand to turn me back into a human. Please! Bartholomew casts the wand's powers onto Lop, finally turning him back into his original form. Paul and now human Lop lock eyes. Hi, Dad. Paul Jr. Is that you? Oh! Paul and his long-lost son, Paul Jr., embrace. The wand, now all out of magic, crumbles into dust, and the party exits the cave. The bomb is detonate, and the explosions erupt behind them as the group walks off together. Thanks for watching. This was a different type of video, but I hope you enjoyed it. Especially big thanks to Charlie, Ronbu, and Jacob for the great D&D session. It was super fun, and I really want to play more. I'd like to upload highlights of the actual D&D session to my second channel eventually, but it's not ready yet because I'm bad at planning. So maybe that'll happen one day. Anyway, this was a big project. Thank you to the team as always, and to Sir Meow for the sound effects. Links to everyone are in the description. Okay, I will see you later. Bye-bye.
Music is a huge part of our society. It brings people together, lets you express yourself in new and creative ways, can even help you get through tough times. Personally, for me, I don't get it. I'm sorry. I've honestly never been a big music person. I know, throw me into a volcano. I would just rather watch YouTube videos. I don't know. I like the constant flashing colors and pictures, I think. Like, I don't hate music. For the most part, I could honestly listen to anything, but that's kinda it, you know? Nothing stands out to me and I don't go out of my way to listen to it. If anyone out there is like me, you understand the pain of when a conversation starts turning towards the topic of music. You know exactly what's coming, and you're helpless to stop it. There's nothing you can do. It's already in motion. The person you're talking to opens their mouth and you wince as they say it. So what kind of music do you listen to? Oh, I don't really listen to music. Like, not at all. Nah, maybe like some video game music every once in a while, but that's kind of it. Damn. That's crazy. Yeah. And after that conversational stumbling, the person starts talking about the music they like, and you have to stand there and take it. Oh, that sounds cool. I should give it a listen. You're just lying through your teeth, not being convinced in the slightest, and will immediately forget every piece of information they tried to feed you. Even if I wanted to look it up later, my brain goes, get this out of here immediately. We've got to make room for the 4-hour-long video essay about Freddy Fazbear. Basically, I don't connect to music the way the majority of people do, and no one, including me, is happy about it. Look, I've tried to contribute in my own way, but no one else listens to the Mario Kart Cheeseland theme in their free time. It's good. No one believes me. Now, on a completely unrelated note, a while ago I wanted to get into a hobby that was fun and active at the same time because I do not move if not incentivized to. And that's not good. I'd like to still be fully functional at the age of 30. So after a bit of soul searching and digging around in the old ideas jar, I decided to try out DDR. I got a dance pad, downloaded some fun video game songs and anime intros to Dance Dance Revolution 2, and I got really into it. It was the most active I've been since high school. I was doing cardio for hours on end. Who am I? After playing my batch of custom songs for a few months, I decided to download some more stuff. And that's when I casually thought to myself, I wonder if there's any good Vocaloid charts. Now, to start a completely new tangent again, Vocaloid is a voice synthesizer program, yada yada yada. Basically, it's robot voices you can control to write songs, and there's different characters based on what voice you use. The most common example, you know her, you love her, is Hatsune Miku. Yep, strap in folks, we're finally talking about Hatsune Miku, my beloved. My history with Hatsune Miku is a bit all over the place. I first got really into her in high school. I don't remember exactly how, but I probably just stumbled onto some of her popular songs while browsing YouTube one day. Either way, I was obsessed, and that was the first instance of me actually listening to music, which, as you know, was groundbreaking. I loved Hatsune Miku so much that in my senior year of English class, the teacher told us to write a PowerPoint presentation about anything we wanted. Most kids talked about, like, ending racism or recycling or something like that, but I decided my presentation was gonna be about our girl, Hatsune Miku. You know, just as morally important as ending racism and preventing global warming. Of course, I disguised it as a presentation about our hologram concert's gonna be the future of live music, but it was really just an excuse to gush about Miku because I desperately needed that outlet. I was a lonely child. Honestly, I'm not even sure how I mustered up the courage to do that presentation in the first place, because as the shy art girl who never talked to or hung out with anyone, it was a bold choice for me to talk about something considered so strange and nerdy at the time. I started my presentation and immediately was like, oh my god, what the hell am I doing talking about a holographic Japanese pop icon in front of my normie-ass classmates? I regret every moment I didn't stop myself from getting right here. After playing Miku's viral World Is Mine performance for the class, one of the, like, popular girls was like, that was cool, can we watch another? And I thought she was making fun of me, so I just sat back down. As much as I loved Miku back then, my anxiety got the better of me, and I slowly drifted away from her because I didn't want to feel like a social outcast. It's a dog-eat-dog world when you're a teenager, and you know it. We were all just trying to survive out there. I'm sorry, Miku. I was weak. Fast forward to current Jaiden. I've grown up a bit, and more sure of myself, learned some life lessons. Am not surrounded by self-conscious teenagers 24/7. I'm now sitting here in front of my computer screen with a choice. Should I choose to yet again repress myself from pursuing a niche and uncommon interest because of self-conscious fears? Or am I gonna choose self-healing and growth and allow myself to fully re-explore the world of a Japanese virtual pop star to play DDR2? Crank up that Miku. I started downloading songs I listened to years ago, found some new ones. I was exploring and already getting more and more into the music I chose to leave behind out of fear years ago. I was flourishing. And that's how it began. I didn't know it back then, but this was the first step of a hyperfixation like no other I've experienced. Hatsune Miku was showing me the ways of truly enjoying music. I was playing her whenever I was in the car, consistently looking up new songs and artists to add to my playlist, even listening to her while I work or play video games, which I pretty much never did. My world was changing. And it was all hers. This wasn't just the music either, it was straight up about Hatsune Miku. I've never been a figure collector, but I started buying so many Miku figures I had to get a custom shelf in my office just to display them all. Dude, it's such a double-edged sword to be into Miku, because the fan base is constantly being fed. New Miku this, new Miku that. Gorgeous figures are coming out like every month. What am I supposed to do? Not buy them? Every house needs to have at least one Miku. That's a feng shui rule. Also, a huge oversight on my part. When I got my Miku shelf installed, I wanted it above my computer. It turned out great and displays them really well, but when I'm actually sitting at my desk and want to look up and admire my figures, all I see is accidental upskirt shots and I feel so bad. I'm sorry, Miku, I'm not trying to disrespect you, I promise. It was a miscalculation on my part. So whenever I'm at my desk, I just don't look up. As most of you probably know, Pokemon invited Jacob and me to Japan to attend the Pokemon World Championships back in August. That was super fun, and the video of that trip should be up by now if I'd planned things correctly. If not, then oops. But Worlds also just so happened to overlap with Magical Mirai, also known as one of the biggest Hatsune Miku expos and concerts ever. We had to go. Since getting super into Miku, it became one of my biggest dreams to see her live in concert. Who knows if we'd ever get this perfect of an opportunity again? What if she invites me backstage and we became friends? I immediately tried to get tickets, but couldn't figure out how the Japanese ticket system worked, so Emily ended up having to help me out. She was also the one who told me about the concert in the first place, so thank you, Emily, my hero, my savior. We got tickets, but not actually, because if you don't know, the way Japan does most of their online ticket systems is through a gacha. Yeah, random lottery. No matter how much money I was willing to hypothetically spend to get these tickets, at the end of the day, we were all just like those little numbered balls in that bingo spinner thing. Months pass as I eagerly await our fate. Then, the email pops up in my inbox. I click it, scanning it way too quickly to understand any of the contents until my eyes catch it. Successfully obtained tickets. We're gonna see Miku! Suddenly life had color again. This is what living feels like. Air tasted more pure. The sun was smiling, beaming even. I smiled back for the first time. Something smelled like toast. You have no idea how excited I was. I don't even understand why I love Hatsune Miku as much as I do, but she has become one of the pillars of my being. Let's jump to the day of the concert. Jacob and I are in Japan and are just about to arrive at the convention center. I remember looking out the window of the taxi, getting so excited to see people wearing their Miku shirts and kimonos, and they had Miku bags. I felt like I was finally around my people. We get there, walk into the convention center, and a blast of Hatsune Miku hits us. Giant Miku statues and posters, booths stocked with Miku merchandise, almost everyone dressed head to toe in Miku clothes. I saw people with Hatsune Miku suitcases to hold all the Miku things they were buying. I immediately wanted to run around and look at everything all at once. There were multiple times where Jacob lost me because I just started walking off in different directions like a Miku moth. We spent a few hours looking around and buying things. We spent a lot of money, but eventually we started getting ready for the live concert. I was giddy with excitement at this point. She was gonna be right in front of me. We found our seats and dude, we were pretty damn close to the stage, especially for randomly selected seats. I couldn't believe how close we were gonna be to Hatsune Miku. I already knew going into it I was gonna cry frame one. If you didn't know, it's pretty standard to have special Miku glow sticks you can shake to the beat of whichever song is playing. You can even switch them to the coordinated color of whichever Vocaloid was on stage at the time. I've only learned about it from watching videos of concerts on YouTube thus far, and I gotta say, it was so fun to see people before the show warming up their arms and practicing their glow stick moves. They really take Hatsune Miku seriously, and I respect it so much. Some people were even quadruple wielding glow sticks. The record I personally saw was 6, like some sort of Miku Wolverine. It was a huge bummer though, because Jacob and I tried to buy some sticks of our own at the expo hall, but they were already sold out, so we didn't have any. And it was kind of embarrassing. Soon enough, the Miku songs the venue was playing started getting louder, and the house lights dimmed, and man, seeing the lights turn down and the teal glow of all the sticks emanating together to light up the room, honestly, it made me tear up. I don't even think I realized how much I loved Hatsune Miku until that moment. Being completely surrounded by people who love her just as much and more than I do. This is what it's like to be into music, isn't it? To experience these moments being completely engulfed in a community, all connected by a single art. I get it now. It's beautiful. The room glowed Miku blue and everyone was cheering and shaking their glow sticks, anticipating her appearance. All the Vocaloids were introduced one by one with text on the hologram screen. Meiko, Luka, Kaito, Kagamine, Rin, and Len. And then Hatsune Miku. The crowd went ballistic. I could already feel myself holding back tears. A little digital poof explosion goes off, and there she was. Right in front of us. She started singing and Jacob and I were cheering and bouncing with the rest of the crowd. By the time she got a couple songs in, Jacob and I were definitely feeling left out for not having the glow sticks to shake. So we pulled out our Miku plushes to use in place of them, and that felt much better. By the end of the concert, Jacob was even dual wielding Mikus. After a few songs, Miku disappeared and the other Vocaloids played some of their songs. I honestly don't know them as well, so I wasn't too familiar with most of the songs they all played, but I was having a great time nonetheless. It was nice to not be fighting tears the whole time anymore as well. Then Miku came back and the concert continued on, and we learned some real nice glow stick moves, replaced with our Miku plushes, of course. There's the classic arm cheer on beat, the on beat off beat, the building cheer on to beat, even throw in the advanced building cheer on to double beat with a height I'll say it, doing all those glow stick movements was honestly a really crazy arm workout. Like, we were working biceps and shoulders for 2 hours straight. Imagine Beat Saber, but higher up in the posture with almost no breaks. And if you don't commit, then Hatsune Miku thinks you hate her. I wanted to mention that in Vocaloid concerts, obviously they have a recording of the vocals because, you know, but all the other instruments were absolutely real. There was a live band playing all the songs for the entire set. In the middle of the concert, there was even a nice little appreciation moment showcasing all the band members by name, accompanied by a little solo they got to play. I'm a big bass fan and would love to learn how to play it one day. And I know bass players get super neglected because everyone wants to watch the cool guitar players, so I gave extra attention to the Miku bass player. They definitely noticed me cheering for them, probably because I could tell everyone was watching the guitar players and I was the only one actually looking at them. And the bass player smiled super wide and raised his bass to me, and I just thought that was a nice moment. Appreciate your bass players, guys. They need it. Anyway, the concert went on. There were awesome lasers and sparklers, fun costume changes from all the Vocaloids, great set list. Shout out to the guy in front of us that was there with his girlfriend and definitely more excited to be there than she was. Finally, it came to the encore. We had to convince Miku to play one more song. You know how, at least in America, people are cheering and screaming for an encore? Well, Japan is like so quiet and polite. They were saying it like a suggestion. It was so quiet. Kind of just a long session of applause with a whisper of Miku. Miku. Like, if I were Hatsune Miku, I would have questioned if they even wanted the encore in the first place. Also, we were asking for the encore for like 5 minutes straight. I was fully convinced she had left the building. But she came out for her last song. It was a blast. She was in her magical Mirai outfit for the year. And it was over. I've only gone to one other concert in my entire life, and it was because a friend in college had an extra ticket and invited me along. I didn't even know the band at the time. It was some random group called Fall Out Boy or something. But I could have been to 1,000 concerts and still say this was the best one I've ever been to. I loved the energy, I loved how passionate and excited everyone was to be there, and I loved Hatsune Miku, and still do. I want to go to so many more of her concerts. It was a great event for me, and I want to relive it again and again. You might think it's weird, or you don't get it. It's just a hologram robot girl, right? That's totally fine. If you can't find it in Vocaloid, I hope everyone has the opportunity to connect with or find a community to enjoy like I have with Hatsune Miku, because moments like that concert are so incredible and I feel so lucky to have been there. I just want everyone to experience something like that in their lifetime.
Getting into Vocaloid can be a bit intimidating, so for anyone that wants to give Miku a try or is just looking for a playlist of some of my favorite Vocaloid songs, I'm putting a link to a Miku playlist I've made and actively listened to in the description and probably the comments too. If I can convert at least a few people into Miku fans, that's a win in my book. I hope you enjoy. I am off to apply for more tickets to another Miku concert. Bye-bye. Toa. Hello everyone! So today we have a very special video. We just hit freaking 100,000 subscribers. What? And obviously we have to do something special. So I was digging through my closet a couple weeks ago and I stumbled upon some extremely old, very cringe-worthy drawings from when I was like tiny Jaiden to slightly teenager Jaiden. So I thought that maybe we could go through them and laugh at how horrible I was. And also Kate's here. Hello! So let's get through this. So obviously here, I was writing a... my mom wrote like the age of most of these. Oh, I was 7 when I drew this.
But the bird though, that's pretty good.
Yeah, the bird. Superman stance.
And like the
and then my
legs.
snake eyes. And this fashion sense right here.
Half blue, half pink.
I was like obsessed with stickers when I was little, so
I remember
like,
you were.
I would just have whatever stickers I could find and then just draw around them. We have the sun here, and they're all helping like pull all my dogs on this leash that's defying gravity. And so are the clouds, and they have very inspirational quotes.
Do it! Just do it!
I was 7 here too.
Oh, I remember you had a stuffed animal. And
Yeah,
then you
I
had
was-
this house.
I was
stuffed animal.
obsessed with stuffed animals. And I drew, like, I was inspired by my animals. So I always drew. I don't
What's
know.
this?
I have no idea. Satellite dish.
It's a little dangerous.
I don't know. There's like a scorpion falling down. And I don't know if he's dying or he's Scorpion Jesus walking across the water. But it's funny because I remember drawing like most of these when I was little. So it's like nostalgia fest everywhere.
Oh my god. Is this Squidward? He's like, is he on his hat? What the heck? Oh no, that's not a comfortable place to be sitting.
So we have this beautiful masterpiece of SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs over here. And the whole scenery and Squidward's situation. Another SpongeBob. This one's a little bit more action-packed.
Oh my god, Sandy looks like a dinosaur.
Sandy the dinosaur. Sandy... What?
Water
Sandy.
out for clouds?
Sandy, water out for clouds. Sandy, watch out for clouds.
Oh.
And then Sandy is
With
up
an E.
here.
How old?
How old? Oh, on the back it said Happy Halloween. Sorry if it's like not in the camera view. We're just, yeah. So I was 7 back here too. Obviously a child artist prodigy.
Oh, that cat.
This one's from you, Kate.
Oh
Look.
my gosh.
She wrote her name so tiny on
That's really small.
Look how beautiful.
Our hands and our arms are just greatly placed.
Beautiful cat growing from the ground.
What in the world is that? It's like a ghost sheepdog. Was this a big mouse?
I have no idea. I like the clouds, the expression on the clouds. Oh! Oh! This is I remember when I was really little, I had like an obsession with making books, and Scruffy was my old dog. So this is a Scruffy pop-out book with staples on the side, the best quality. So, so now we have like an accordion, that's what they called it. Pop-out book. Can you see that pop-out? That is phenomenal. And again with the title, Scruffy Pop-Out Book, just in case you missed it. Oh, so we have Doghouse, In-house.
Dog in the house.
With that amazing 3D pop-out. Next page.
Oh.
Doing a handstand.
Layer.
And then I felt the need to label every single part of his body. Oh, this is like showing the leg. So ear, leg, eye, leg, tail, and leg. And that is my first book that I've ever published. This is another one from Kate. Oh, look how tall the flowers are compared to us.
We look like we're like crazed.
And then, thank you for being my friend from Kate to Jaiden. We were actually, you guys probably don't know this, but we've known each other since we were 4. I would always do this type of thing where I drew something and then I'd like feel the need to color it in with multiple colors. And look at this spacing. Jaiden and Kate. I don't know what this one is. I'm like
She's
climbing
going up the stairs
with her basket.
That's pretty cool.
To Mom, Dad, Scruffy, and Jackson. I like how I put my dog in front of my own brother.
Oh, this one's not too bad.
I don't know what's going on in this picture here.
They're all like angry about these
very emotional clouds after this cheetah family and their little babies. Oh, he's saying, Chewie did it. And then he's like,
oh, the sun.
I did it.
What did they
He's
do?
the sharp teeth. I have no idea. This is my old wish list from when I was
Oh my
little.
God.
Like whenever we had like Christmas, and we didn't just like we had 3 things to ask for. 3 wishes for the world, 3 wishes for the family, and for myself. So obviously here, I was asking for a gym mat, a SpongeBob game, which is like those really old school plug and play games, and then some drawing books. But also, in the wishes for the world, I said, never fighting.
Fighting.
Oh, never fighting,
Everyone stays healthy.
Everyone stays healthy. Everyone stays happy on Earth.
Oh, that's very good, Jaiden.
I was such a giving child. For family, I put everyone loves each other.
Eat each other. Everyone eats each other.
Everyone stays. Oh wow! I was really wanting everyone to stay healthy. Again with
You're
the Chewy
obsessed
stuff.
with Chewy.
This is like some rainbow power here. Also, I remember doing that. I'd also like put my name in the corner and then highlight it with a color.
Make sure everyone knows you did it.
Yeah. No one steal this original artwork.
Oh, you're 8 now.
I was
so
8.
You're getting better.
I was improving. I don't think this is mine.
This one's my favorite.
But here's Otis and
Otis.
Froggy and Steve and Pecker. And this guy is saying hi. Oh dear. So it says in bold words, to mommy and dad from Jaiden. And I have a cat, a pet cat, that I can't have in real life because I'm allergic. And also, I have these wonderful double pants going on. I would like fold my drawings in the most ridiculous, tiny, squarish ways. So like, I like deliver it to the person and be like, look, here, I drew this thing. And it's like origami, tiny miniature square. Oh, well, this is when we went to church. It is Christmas Eve. We are at church in mommy and daddy's room. And Scruffy's at home.
All right.
So here's Scruffy. And then here's church with loudspeakers or windmills.
Those are scary.
And I remember like drawing these hands like this is like 3 pointers. This is again at church, but I remember like you'd have to like draw. Oh my gosh, look at this. Oh my god. Okay, so like doing a hand thing, and then my friend like reached over my hand and like dotted her marker on my paper. And I was like, no, don't do that. So I scribbled it out, and then she kept doing it, and then I kept scribbling it out.
Oh my god.
This is from Kate.
That's a scary bunny.
Oh my gosh. I actually still have this stuffed animal. Let me go get it. There he is. You can see the attention to detail that I had in here. And then again with the bird who's just flying without having to
I
fly.
think that one's better. Good job. Oh, there he is again.
Oh, here he is again, yeah. And then it looks like we're on top of
Gravestones.
gravestones
Oh my god.
with my
Yay,
very long
we're-
legs.
Somebody died. Who's that?
Here's Jax.
He doesn't get to stand on a grave.
He gets to stand on the grass. Here's another one. And I drew the sun underneath the sky. The
Another bird.
What if this is how I drew myself, like, on this channel? Hello, everyone.
That was good.
Oh, God. When I was 10 here.
Yeah.
2007. Okay, so, excuse me while I cringe a bit. I also like making my own little characters.
Oh, I did too. I remember that.
Yeah, so this was Saturn the Bat, and he had 2 different colored wings, which made him very special.
Oh my gosh, I remember these characters. I remember looking at them being like, oh my god, that's so good.
This is Steve. This was like, I made like 10 tiny books out of him. And this is probably one of the first characters that I ever made. This is a stick man called Iggy, and I would like play around with making expressions with just eyes. And then here are my characters. The 3 that you just saw, and then 2 others. And then here they all are dancing.
This is good. I like this one.
Okay, so I remember thinking when I was little, I'm gonna draw all the Animal Crossing characters in the whole game and their house.
God.
And that didn't last very long because I only did 1.
Oh, you wanted this bird.
I've wanted this bird. I still want a bird, but not this one. Where's his other leg?
That's what I was wondering, actually.
I was very proud of the branch that he was sitting on.
Yeah, it's a good branch.
No, it's not.
Oh, this one's good. How old were you?
I was like on a bird craze. I think I drew this at the same time as the other one.
It's a good one.
Yeah. This is a cockatiel. It's okay. The legs are kind of wonky. This is how I used to draw birds. It was like my own style of drawing birds. Here's like an example of my comic book that I would like draw comics all the time. So there's an alien and he somehow gets transported into Earth. He's like, oh no, I need to get back to my old planet. Oh no. And then there's a human.
You look cool.
You look so cool.
And he's like, no. And then so he's like, oh, I need to go back to my old planet. And then the human is like tagging along. And he's like, no, you can't come with me. And then apparently she does anyway.
And he has to let her, I guess.
And something bad happens and he kicks a tree. And then he finds the portal and he goes back home.
To his computer, good.
Yay.
Good ending.
Most of society. And let me also point out that I had 2 other ones like this.
Oh my god.
And they were exactly the same story.
Really?
Just with different characters.
Oh my gosh.
I remember doing this in an art class. I drew mice all the time. And I was 10 here. We're getting older. I think the, thing of the project was to use a bunch of different patterns and write your name. Yeah. That's pretty cool. I think this was for
Looks like his circulation got cut off in certain places.
This was like art class in 6th grade. And she's like, okay, draw a castle. And I was like,
that's a good one.
And then there's like I always had like something funny going on in the picture. So there's like a little guy who's like, wrong address. Okay, so here we have the power of Switch. Oh, and up here it says I'm 12. So here's my character that I made, Switch. Apparently he can transform, and I went crazy with all the dots here. So here's his electric version, and here's his water transformation, Flow. He's got a nice mermaid tail.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh
no! That's
okay,
his high version.
Keep in mind, I was 12. I didn't know what weed meant. I was just thinking like, oh, I can't have a name be grass. Let's just think of what else is grass. Oh, weed.
Oh no.
So, I remember doing this one. I would like...
That's like really good.
I'm a very patient person.
Yeah, seriously.
If you can't tell, I'm very patient. Yeah.
Look
all
at
these little
that.
stars are drawn by me. And then there's kind of a random dude sitting on a bench here.
He looks like this is what he's seeing. He's high again.
He encountered that weed character.
Yeah.
Here, I was like getting a little bit more serious. So, I don't know if this will pick it up, but it was like a bird. I remember finishing this, I was like, wow, I'm really proud of this. And it's like, it's okay, the wings don't really make sense, but I was 13 here. And here's another character that I was like obsessed with, a bipedal wolf. And he's like aggressive here, and then he's like sitting down, aggressive.
Aggravated.
Aggravated. When I had binders, I'd always like want to draw a wallpaper for
Superman
them. And I wanted to do like a sheep one. So this was like in my binder. Here's a kangaroo that I never finished.
A dinosaur in pajamas.
A dinosaur in pajamas. And then there's like a little fangirl.
Oh my god.
He's so lovable. And then I like the little stick arms. I had a book that was like, look how to draw. And then I would just trace everything from it.
Oh.
So these are all traced. There's nothing wrong with tracing because that's how I started. I traced this raccoon, but I drew the rest.
I got the little flies.
Yeah, there's like little,
into it.
There's like little fireflies. And
cute.
I was like, how do I draw trees? And I was like, oh. I still don't know how to draw trees.
This is for a manga book.
Yeah, I was like obsessed with this book. It was about this guy who recycled his bottle and then it came to life and it was like his pet. I drew like random sceneries when I was bored. And I didn't finish them.
I like this one.
It was like a kid who had his ice cream.
Okay.
And there was a disaster going on in the background. And then there was a grown man who dropped his ice cream.
Oh my god, his beard!
I remember, like, only knowing how to draw dogs. So that's all I would draw. And this is, like, a bunch of dogs all over this person who's like, puppies! I wanted to give the internet browsers a persona for some reason. So here's, like, here's like Google Chrome and she's got her little gosh. And then here's Firefox.
When was this?
I don't know. I think it was like maybe a year or 2 ago. And then here's Internet Explorer. And she's like, oh no, I'm too slow.
Oh, that was cute.
Yeah, here's a cat I drew, and I was like messing around with like the stripes. It kind of turned out cute.
I really like that one.
Yeah. Here's when Jaiden Animations was not even a thing yet. This was when I was just dreaming of starting a YouTube channel. And this was how I was going to draw myself. You can see how much it has improved over the year, but that's like, I don't know. This is like weird because this is before the channel even started. And now looking back at it, when we're at 100,000, that's so weird. This is actually the first way I was going to draw myself. Would you guys still have the same impression of me if I drew myself like this? Trying to see what I wanted Jaiden Animations to look like. And look at that. There it is, right there. That's what I used. Then I don't know what this one is. It says, go away, I'm drawing.
This one's pretty good right there.
This is like a funny dance, apparently.
I need more paper.
I need more paper. I remember I was like, oh, I don't have any regular printer paper, so I had to use lined ones. And then these were like my drawing notebooks. I always had like comics filled with these characters I made. On the back here, let me also note that my brother was really into Michael Jackson.
Oh my god.
So on the back of my sketchbook, he wrote Michael, and it says music, artist, identical, cool, hi, awesome, eats good, and learns well.
Wow.
MJ rocks.
Wow, because of all those things right there.
So that was going through my old drawings. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I found it very cringeworthy. Thank you so much for helping us reach this huge milestone. It's really mind-blowing to think that we've come this far. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!
Remember when Pokemon sent me every single one of their Gen 5 sitting cuties for me to rank? Turns out they really liked that video. So much, in fact, that they said, hey Jaiden, awesome video. Why don't you come to Japan to watch the Pokemon 2023 World Championships? Our treat. You won't have to pay for your flights or hotel or nothing. I've been to Japan once before in my entire life, and it was back in 2018 with my family. We did a bunch of fun little Japanese tourist things. It was a phenomenal trip, but ever since then, I've always wanted to go back and do all the awesome nerdy stuff Japan has to offer that I didn't want to bother my family with. At the time, they didn't even know who Luffy was. They would have been so lost. So when Pokemon extended their hand and offered to fly not only me, but Jacob out to attend the biggest Pokemon tournament in the world, I jumped for joy. Free trip to Japan! The tournament was only going on for a single weekend, but Jacob and I planned to stay there for 3 whole weeks to do a bunch of said extra nerdy stuff. We were pumped. Eventually the time came, Jacob and I were packing up all our stuff, and decided we both would bring an extra suitcase so we could treat ourselves a bit and buy a bunch of cool stuff while we're there. Don't judge us, we're anime and Nintendo loving impulse buyers going to Japan. A game plan was needed. We were being responsible. 2 extra suitcases was definitely gonna be enough. Yep. Equipped with our extra luggage, we headed off to the airport. Pokemon straight up gave us business class seats. We didn't ask for them or anything. So when we boarded, we realized we had the seats where you could lay down. There even was some sort of seat divider that acted like a car window, so I could roll it down and bother Jacob whenever I wanted. Quick little 11-hour flight later, and we were in Japan. It was time to have the best trip of our lives. I'm not joking. I had the most incredible trip and got to do things I won't ever forget. And I won't, because I've now plastered it onto the internet forever. We landed midday Japan time, so we decided to go to the first thing we wanted to see while abroad. Japanese McDonald's. I couldn't order anything except fries, but Jacob and I both dropped our jaws when we saw something called the Double Big Mac on the menu. I thought Americans already went big with the Big Mac, but Japan did the impossible. Just to send a message. What a magical place. Let's begin with the next morning. Pokemon planned a bunch of cool stuff for the creators and partners they flew out, beginning with a group field trip to the Mega Tokyo Pokemon Center. Jacob and I woke up early for it and missed the bus they had for us. And it totally wasn't completely my fault entirely because I hypothetically didn't read the schedule correctly and was taking my sweet time getting ready. Why would you think that? So we had to take the trains on our own to get there. Anyone that remembers my first Japan trip knows the trains were me and my family's mortal enemy number one. We kept getting it wrong and it was failure after failure the entire trip. You'd think that with all that prior experience and struggle, I would have grown as a Japanese train understander, right? Nope, we got on the wrong train. But at least we were having a good time. After a lot of freaking out and mental strain and regrets, we finally arrived at our destination, and although by the time we got there they had already finished looking at the Pokemon Center, we were able to grab a quick snack with the group at the Pokemon Sweets Cafe. I meant to take a picture of the Pikachu waffle before I ate half its cranium, but I forgot, so this is what you get. Now that we were with the group, we were able to travel with them for the rest of the day, so we packed into the bus and headed off to a traditional tea ceremony where we were taught all about how the tea masters would make tea and tea etiquette and all these things about the significance of tea in Japanese culture, all while getting to taste the tea master made. Again, I meant to take this picture before I took a chunk out of the little sweet they gave us, but here we are yet again. I'm just not that great at this. They also served us a really special lunch of super fancy bento boxes, like so fancy that the host was like, dude, I've never even had these bento boxes before. I was super excited, but I don't mean to be ungrateful or wasteful, but the box was full of super fancy, complicated fish and seafood. I knew going to Japan I'd have to be flexible with food because it's really hard to be vegan or even vegetarian there, so I really tried to eat as much as possible and look thankful. But yeah, I struggled a lot. But I still had a great time and it was an honor. We were dropped off at the Yokohama Chinatown and left to explore a bit until dinner in a few hours. Everyone separated into groups and Jacob, Stefan, the guy that sent me all the sitting cuties, you guys remember him, the guy named Steve, and I went and pursued the street food a bit before stumbling into a little arcade with a bunch of crane machines. I got this silly little bear minifigure. His name is Chico, so I decided to innocently carry him around in my pocket for the entirety of the trip. You know, because he was silly. This single action severely changed the course of my mental stability going forward. You'll see soon enough. But look at these cute photos I got with them. We had a great dinner, headed back to the hotel, got to hang out with our good old Pokemon rival Jan a bit, and called it a night. The next day we all got to do some private shopping at the Pokemon World's pop-up shop. I'll just say we bought way too much stuff that we also don't regret in the slightest. I even got this video of Jacob grabbing more and more sitting cuties as the workers kept reorganizing them to keep the display looking perfect. We walked out of there with 3 giant bags of stuff. But it's okay because remember, we anticipated this with our extra suitcases, which I am starting to wonder if they are going to be enough, but surely we will come down. We were then all taken to the creatures' offices. You know, just the place where they make Pokemon cards. It was gorgeous in there. They had these awesome sculptures of giant Pokemon cards with crystals, and all the walls were lined with 3D card art. It felt like I was in a building with a lot of significance. Because I was. We got a tour around the building, met the TCG card testers, and were able to ask them questions about their process. Even got to have a little Q&A session with Atsushi Nagashima, the game director of the Pokemon TCG. It was funny, one of the people in our group asked how they chose which Pokemon to make cards for. A good question. And then followed it up with, I really like Mantike, but there's only 2 Mantike cards that exist. And the assistant pulled up a list of all the Pokemon Mantike cards that have ever been created. And sure enough, there were only 2. The director chuckled and was essentially like, yeah, sometimes Pokemon get lost in the cracks. We kind of just make cards of Pokemon I like. For example, my favorite Pokemon is Gengar. And you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense. Also, we were able to have a Q&A session with the Pokemon card art director and 3 artists who actually draw art for the cards. That was super interesting, and I was so incredibly inspired by that discussion. But you know those Pokemon cards with the super cute clay art? That artist's name is Yuka Mori, and she was in that panel. I was so starstruck. Those are some of my favorite Pokemon cards. And not only that, but she hosted a little workshop for us where she gave us clay and taught us how to make little clay Magnemites like in this card here. Speaking of this card, she brought the actual original Magnemite for us to see. That was by far the coolest thing that I've ever gotten to be a part of. We got to meet a piece of genuine history. I felt like I was meeting the president. Also, here's me and Jacob's Magnemites that we made. Day 3 of our little Pokemon field trip, and we were taken to another
Pokemon Center, this time in Shibuya, which was also right across from a Nintendo store. It was like a bullet was shot through our credit cards. In the shopping center, I saw a little gacha machine with little miniature Chiikawa plushes. I was only interested in getting Chiikawa, but I decided to test my luck anyway. And I got him first try! Now I had 2 of them. Yes, the original was still in my pocket. You can safely assume he is in my pocket for the entirety of this video. I've got pictures to prove it. Jacob snapped this awesome picture of the Chiikawa brain rot taking over. When we were looking around in the Shonen Jump shop, a little Japanese boy pointed at Jacob and went, "Sanji-san," before his mother quickly yanked him away, and I still to this day laugh at that interaction. Poor kid saw his first blonde guy in real life and immediately thought it was Sanji. Later that day, we also got to attend the Pokemon Symphony, where a live orchestra played Pokemon songs, and it was absolutely incredible. Video game orchestras are so cool. It always tugs on my heartstrings to see video game music transformed into such a beautiful new art form. Highly recommend attending one if you have any favorite games or franchises. On to the first day of Worlds. It was exciting. People flooded into the venue. We watched the opening ceremony in the crowd. Just wow. This is the whole reason why we're here. We went back to shopping. Look at this cute little Chiikawa book I found in a nearby bookstore. At this point, we were absolutely pushing it in terms of luggage space, and we were day 4 into a 2.5-week trip. Our shopping sprees until this point were very not frugal, so we cut our losses and bought 2 extra giant suitcases to fit everything better. Okay, we knew we were gonna need extra suitcases. Getting a few extra couldn't hurt. Look, the flights were paid for. We were still saving money at this point, I think. That's my rationalization. I'm going with that. Also in the mall were tons of Pokemon monitors straight up playing the World Championships. TCG, Pokemon Go, VGC. Japan treated Worlds like it was the Super Bowl. And it was just so cool to see one of my main interests so culturally celebrated. People of all ages would stop by to watch for a bit before going back to their shopping. I can't explain it, but it just made me very happy. We even got to see Wolfie live on the monitors. How'd he do? He did great. Don't worry about it. Nothing happened. Look, we were just happy to see our friend on the Pokeball screen. Proud of you, Wolfie. You're so cool. The second day of Worlds was hype. So hype that we left Yokohama and flew to Osaka. I haven't mentioned it yet, but we actually got tickets to see the one and only Hatsune Miku live in concert. The real ones know how huge that is for me. I want to talk about how life-changing that was, but I'm gonna make a whole separate video about that experience I'll be posting next. All I'm gonna say is it was the best day of my entire life. By a lot. Subscribe now before you miss it, just saying. I will mention, we did have to take the train to get back later that night and got super lost again. And we never get better at it. Don't expect anything to change in that regard. We did finally get back to Yokohama, crashed for the night, and had a nice slow morning as we got ready for finals later that day. To any One Piece fans who are caught up, we were in Japan for the One Piece anime episode. You know what I'm talking about. 1072. We were able to turn on our hotel TV and watch it live. And that was so cool. I don't talk about how much I love One Piece much, mainly because it doesn't really come up. But One Piece is peak, and it was an honor to be in Japan at such an iconic part of the manga and anime's history. Anyway, back to Pokemon, sorry about that. We were able to watch the final VGC match live, got to chat and eat dinner with Wolfie and some other friends, had a late night hangout with Jan again, and that was about it. Day 7 meant it was time to pack up all our stuff from the hotel, say goodbye to Pokemon and Yokohama, and head on over to the apartment we rented for the rest of our stay just outside of Tokyo. At this point, we had filled up all 6 suitcases and multiple backpacks. I didn't mention it, but Pokemon gave us a truckload of gifts that we genuinely had no idea what to do with. We're grateful nonetheless, thank you, Pokemon. But yeah, the taxi ride was a bit awkward. So, are you meeting up with some friends? No. After we got situated in the new place, we decided to look around the area and grab some lunch. And I gotta say, the little hole-in-the-wall restaurant Jacob found was some of the best ramen I've ever had ever. They even made it vegetarian for me, which was extremely kind of them. Food modifying is a bit tricky in Japan compared to the States, so I was very, very thankful. And it was delicious! We then proceeded to do absolutely nothing for the rest of the day because we were exhausted from the trip so far. I haven't mentioned absolutely everything we'd been doing on the trip because it would be a lot of, first we did this and it was cool, then we did this and it was cool. Even though it was such a pleasure to be invited, I was was so dead and definitely looked super not approachable or friendly to the rest of the group by the end of it. Sorry, guys. But neither time nor Japan stops for anyone, so we had to keep on chugging along. There were a bunch of friends we wanted to see while in Japan, and one of them was Connor. He wanted to take us to what he deemed his favorite Italian place ever. I asked if it was like fancy Italian, to which I was given the answer of no. So we get there, having a great time, and suddenly we realize Junichi Masuda, the director of Game Freak, is there having dinner. Not a fancy dinner, my ass. I then look down to see the Freddy Fazbear FNAF t-shirt that I am wearing. Not the best Jaiden moment to exist, but hey, what can you do? The food was phenomenal though. I already mentioned the best ramen I've ever had while on the trip, but this was genuinely the best pasta I've ever had in my entire life. Maybe even a top 3 meals ever for me. I don't know what the other 2 would be, but that Connor place is definitely up there. The next day we went to the One Piece store in Shibuya and bought a lot of stuff because there was a lot of topical and hype things in there, as you could imagine. If you don't get it, go catch up and come back. Don't worry, it won't take too long. My favorite character is Mihawk, but out of all the stuff the store had to offer, there were only a few stickers and a single keychain for Mihawk. I'm still mauling about that one. I just want more Mihawk. Is that too much to ask for? Even this guy got better merch. The world's greatest swordsman deserves better. I guess I'll just take my Zoro and Law stuff. That's cool too, I suppose. I also found a bunch of Chikawa stuff in a Kittyland store, and this is truly when you get to see where things start going downhill for me. I just like the funny little cartoon bear thing. What? Is that such a crime? I don't remember what we did the rest of the day. I think we just crashed and passed out. This trip, as surreal as it's been so far, has been absolutely taking a toll on me, and I desperately needed to just not move or talk or exist for a bit. We were doing so many different things that were all awesome, and hanging out with so many different people that were all awesome, but man, I am not built for extended periods of that much excitement and socializing. As much as I would like to change this fact, I'm also not a very active person. I know. Up until this trip, I was practically sitting down 24/7, working all the time to prep as much work as possible so I could have a guilt-free 3 weeks off, and my muscles were definitely starting to decay at that point. I looked at my phone's step meter thing, and there was one day where I literally got 300 steps. That's pathetic. And suddenly, I'm logging over 20,000 daily. My body was screaming. What the hell are you doing out there? Please stop. Plus, we were in Japan during the hottest, most humid time of the year. Every time we left the air-conditioned luxury of a building, we would immediately be drenched in sweat. Look, I'm used to the heat. I grew up in Arizona, but even this was too much. So yeah, crash and burn it was. Tokyo Disneyland was a bit underwhelming. It felt like a slightly worse version of the one in California because of the oddly spaced layout and surprisingly empty vibe. We did go to a Stitch-themed show thing, and as we were walking in, a worker stopped us and said, "Oh, excuse me, Stitch only speaks Japanese," like warning us it's not super tourist friendly. But I just think the statement of Stitch only speaks Japanese is hilarious. We went in anyway, and yep, Stitch only spoke Japanese. Kazoku. Yeah, overall, it was not the best thing we did, but apparently, I didn't know this, Japan has 2 Disneys, Disneyland and Disney Sea, and we went to Land, which is unanimously deemed the worst of the 2. So, oops, better luck next time. Jacob and I took 2 more rest days where we just turned to ash. Then up and at 'em, back to Osaka we go. This time we went to an Eve concert. Besides Hatsune Miku, the Japanese band Eve is the only other concert I've said I wanted to go see. I love their music videos they have for all their songs. It's always such beautiful animation. And by the way, they're the ones who sang the season 1 Jujutsu Kaisen anime opening theme, if you're lost. Earlier in the trip, Jacob just so happened to look up if they were doing a concert while we were there, and lo and behold, they were. He got some totally not scalped tickets, which turned out to be a super complicated process, so thank you, Jacob. You're the bestest friend I've ever had. Thank you for going through the trenches for silly old me. Anyway, the concert was so incredible. The atmosphere was fantastic. They had awesome visual effects going on. The glow bands a lot of people bought were perfectly synced to the music and colors on the stage, which really enhanced the experience. The music was great, which, I mean, of course it was. That was the whole reason we went in the first place. I talk about about it more in the upcoming Miku video, but Japanese encores are so much different from the American ones. They're so quiet and polite. There is pretty much no screaming and cheering. It was just a long applause with a semi-whisper chant of encore, encore. And they also made us wait like 5 minutes for them to come back out. My hands were getting itchy just from clapping so much, that's how long it took. And then when they finally came out, they ended up doing like 5 extra songs. I mean, I'm not complaining, but after the 4th time thinking, man, that was a great last extra song. Well, time to head home. Wait, another? It starts getting a bit comedic. This is just a side tangent, but Jacob went off to use the bathroom before the show started and came back 10 minutes later, like, dude, this is crazy, but it took me a bit longer to find a bathroom because there were so many extra women's bathrooms, which is like, whoa, that's actually so smart. There's always such a huge line for the women's bathroom compared to the men's in any scenario. I was just shocked Japan was like, okay, then we'll make more women's bathrooms to fix that problem. Like, it was so simple. I know in America it would probably turn into a stupid political thing, but it made me so happy Japan just implemented such an obvious and straightforward solution so easily for the gals. The next day, we headed over to Universal, which was hands down the best amusement park I've ever been to. So they can do amusement parks well. First of all, Universal Japan is way more anime and manga focused than the ones in the States, which made it instantly more engaging for me. Jacob and I both agreed we would window shop for the first part of the day, and then buy all the things we wanted as we were leaving so we wouldn't have to lug around a bunch of bags all day. But we immediately saw a little One Piece shop and cracked. We just wanted to wear these One Piece headbands. That's rule-breaking worthy. We also got some towels because surprise, it was freaking hot. I know I've been complaining about the weather here and there, but my lord, it was miserably scorching. Japan has such a big culture around staying cool while outside, and I totally get it now. People would be walking around with little fans, ice packs, towels. A lot of women had parasols. I'll say, if we didn't get those towels, we probably could have passed out from heat stroke that day. Later on, I even ended up getting another towel. It was a cute Pikachu one, but I got it mainly because it was a cloak design. After soaking that thing in cold water and putting it on, my body temperature instantly lowered like 5 degrees. However, that meant I was walking around the park looking like this. Back to the awesome stuff. We did a bunch of attractions like watch a fun 4D Jujutsu Kaisen show where the seats move around, went on a super cool 3D VR Spider-Man ride. We tried to cool down by going on a Minions thing called Freeze Ray sliders that claimed to cool riders down with a blast of chilled mist from a giant freeze ray. But we got on and absolutely did not even touch a drop of the mist because it never ended up getting in range of our cart. That felt like an actual tragedy at the time. There were a few big roller coasters we wanted to go on, but I get super motion sick and forgot to bring nausea medicine, so no roller coasters for us, but I shall return one day. The park, of course, had a bunch of cool themed restaurants, one of them being a super cool One Piece restaurant. Did I mention I like One Piece? There also was a special Sanji one, but we didn't know you needed a reservation, so phooey. It was awesome though. I love One Piece. After a few hours of rides and being broiled alive, we decided to fully cool off by going on the Jurassic Park ride. That's just giant splash mountain with dinosaurs. We cooked in line for probably a solid hour, and as soon as we were literally stepping foot inside the ride, it started pouring rain. Now that's just not fair. I don't even understand how that happened, but whatever. We started buying all the stuff we window shopped for as we waited for the One Piece live show to begin. Again, please refrain from judging. I am being vulnerable and open here. By the way, as we were walking around, we stumbled onto a little Mario-themed show just out in a courtyard area. They played some fun little custom songs and had all these dancers alongside the mascots. And then out of nowhere, they started absolutely blasting the crowd with like gallons of water. I didn't even see it coming. It was like firefighters showed up to put out a giant fire, except the fire was a bunch of Japanese people. The time came and we got to file in for the special One Piece live show, and even though Jacob and I didn't understand a single part of it because it was all in Japanese, it was awesome, and the costume design was phenomenal. It was a bit unfortunate though, because the seats were all in like a half circle formation around the stage. As much as they tried to make the show enjoyable from all angles, it was pretty hard to see the main things going on in the center. My only true complaint though is that
that Zoro didn't come to our side at all. All the other characters rotated around so we could see them, but Zoro only did it at the very end to take a bow. Also, Mihawk being included would have been nice, but it's okay. By the time we got to enter Nintendo Land, it was like 9 p.m. We got up at 6 a.m. by the way, so we pretty much just rode the Yoshi's Island ride they don't have in the States and headed home because that's all the energy we had left. But even just seeing that, it was miles better than the one in the States. Also, we picked up a little dinner at the 7-Eleven near our hotel. 7-Eleven is actually awesome in Japan, by the way. And they had a few little Chicoa plushie keychains and I bought them. Just being transparent here. We woke up early the next morning to catch our flight back to Tokyo and hurried over to the Kirby Cafe. Emily actually booked the reservation for us. She was meant to also be there, but she was only able to get 2 seats and gave them to us as a gift. Emily, I will always be indebted to you for your sacrifice. The cafe itself was so well decorated with all these little Kirby things, and the menu was adorable. I got the star curry and a magical little fruity drink with a Kirby marshmallow that triggered my cute aggression. Jacob got the pizza and a Kirby burger, but since he made modifications, the staff asked him to not post a picture of the burger to the public. Like, they didn't know he was a content creator or anything. I guess they just didn't want the public to see a naked Kirby burger. We also both got desserts. I already decided I was gonna consume the Kirby. The presentation was beautiful. It was literal art on a plate. Taste-wise, it was decent. The body was some sort of gelatin, which I wasn't too crazy about, but the rest was super tasty. I did my best, but he ended up looking like he was in a horrific accident when I threw in the towel. The cafe also has a special little private store connected to it. And yeah, what you expect happened definitely happened. We left with full bellies and bags, continued to look around the shopping center the cafe was connected to, and ended up walking into a gacha store. I am about to be very vulnerable with you here. This is one of the lowest points of my entire life. Please don't think too much less of me after what happened in that gacha store. So I walk in, spot Chiikawa, beeline it to the machine, obviously. Like I mentioned before, I'm only interested in Chiikawa, so I was only playing for him. But by the cursed luck of the gacha gods, I just could not get him. I was going back and forth between the machine and the coin exchange, getting multiples of every other little guy, but no Chiikawa. I could feel the workers' glances at me, probably because the desk they were standing behind was right next to the machine I was grinding. But after way too much money, he dropped. I got my well-earned, horribly priced at that point, Chiikawa. I then started looking at all the other machines, putting some coins in a few here and there, until I stopped at one that had a line of animals playing band instruments. They were very silly, but there was a little pigeon holding up cymbals, and I really wanted to get him for Jordan and Kelsey. In went the coins. Tiger, elephant, fox. It was happening again. Everything except the one I wanted. Which I know more or less that's the luck with gachas, but it was getting to the point where I was getting surprised the pigeon was dodging me as much as it was. Surely the next one. What? Eventually, I had to go back to the coin exchange, and as I was about to put in more money, I saw out of the corner of my eye one of the workers peek out and take a look in horror at all the gachapons that were sitting at the top of my bag. They then raised up their hand and said something in Japanese while shaking their head, and I knew in my heart I was being cut off. No, please! I can stop whenever. Just a few more hits and I'm done. The pigeon is next. I can feel it. Why do you look afraid? What's under the desk? I got kicked out of a gacha store. I had hit an all-time low. I told my friends and they said they probably just thought I was gonna try and resell them, but I don't even know if that would even make it sound better knowing I was getting so many that they thought I was robbing them blind. I just wanted my little Chiikawa and pigeon with cymbals. We made dinner plans that night with a friend and we were just about to grab a taxi and head back to freshen up, but Jacob and I caught sight of a fun anime and goodies shop. Who do we think we are? People with self-control? We'll make it quick! We rushed in and split up for optimization. As I was looking around, I saw it. A whole section dedicated
to Chiikawa. It was like someone put a freshly baked pie on a windowsill, and I was suddenly floating over to it. My eyes were zoned in, making sure I saw every single thing possible, putting Chiikawa after Chiikawa in the basket. Jacob eventually came over and showed me a picture he took on his phone. In my tunnel vision, all my eyes registered was that the picture showed more Chiikawa in the store. I immediately went feral. Where? Jacob's eyebrows went up in surprise and maybe a bit of fear. And as I looked at the photo again, I realized Jacob wasn't showing me a picture of a different Chiikawa section. He was showing me a picture of me at the current Chiikawa section I was standing in because he thought it was funny. And in my Chiikawa brain rot, I didn't even register I was in the picture. I just saw more Chiikawa and went obsessive. This is how I am. Either stand by me or leave. No, I don't need an intervention. Put it away. We left. I looked longingly at the crane machine Chiikawas we didn't have time for, and we made it in time for dinner. Plus, we ended up in another arcade nearby anyway, and I got myself a Chiikawa from one of those machines, so it worked out. Stop. I don't want to hear it. Finally, we were reaching the end of our trip. We spent the last day grabbing lunch with Emily and Didus. There was a cool One Piece scavenger hunt event going on, so we also did that with them. We basically had to walk around Shibuya and find special One Piece trading card posters hidden around the area. And if we found enough, along with the special card of the day, we could get a limited edition mystery card. It was fun, but also hot. And all my clothes were sticking to my body. Didus generously let me borrow his umbrella, and I jumped for joy as he showed me it was coincidentally Chiikawa themed. I don't know what's wrong with me. All I know is that bear makes me happy. We spent a few hours completing the scavenger hunt, got our special cards, and bid them farewell. Always good to see you guys. Bye-bye. I accidentally stole Didus' umbrella. It looked so calculated. They knew how much I was obsessed with Chiikawa. They'd been watching my Instagram stories. Follow if you want to see brain rot in real time. Emily, I have the Chiikawa umbrella. I didn't mean to steal it. I promise. It's not what it looks like. Since we were leaving in the morning and wouldn't be seeing them again, they just let me keep it. But the side eye Jacob gave me the rest of the way back. I didn't mean to— stop it! Getting back to the apartment, reality hit us hard. We needed just a few more suitcases. Again. In total, we ended up buying 6 extra suitcases to hold everything we collectively bought. And even then, it was a struggle making it fit. Jacob ended up going professional Tetris mode, perfectly fitting everything into the suitcases with quite literally no extra room to spare. We came to Japan each with a backpack, carry-on, and 1 extra big suitcase, and we're leaving with altogether 8 suitcases and 4 backpacks. We were lucky the taxi driver had a big enough car to fit everything because we didn't have much of a game plan if it didn't. Off to the airport we went, where we checked all of our excessive bags, paid a couple fees, boarded our flight, and headed home. That trip will go down as one of the best trips I've ever gone on. It felt like it turned into a celebration of everything that makes me me. All of my hobbies and interests, Pokemon, One Piece, at the last minute Chiikawa. We got to do so many incredible things and were given so many opportunities I'd never even thought I could be a part of. I got to see so many friends that are normally so far away, ate some of the best meals of my life, and overall was just really happy, especially getting to spend it all with my best friend Jacob. By the way, if you wanted to know why in the world we got so many things, yes, a lot of it was for us. 90% of it all was for our friends. 100% of the Chiikawa stuff was mine, but that's besides the point. If you want to see what we got them, also credit where credit is due, the majority of it all was from Jacob, because he's a great gift giver and even more incredible friend to the people around him. We're all nothing short of lucky to be able to call him our friend. You can go watch his Japan video. I assume it's already up, because we had to animate a frickin' 30-minute long video. My god, it was a lot. Thanks for sticking around. But yeah, I just had an unforgettable trip, and I owe the opportunity to the Pokemon Company for inviting us to Japan in the first place. I'm extremely lucky to be in the position I am, and will be forever grateful.
When Carl Jacobs popped up in my DMs asking if I wanted to be in Mr. Beast's upcoming video, I'll be honest, my gut reaction was fear. Mr. Beast has basically become YouTube's own mad scientist. He can snap his fingers and shape reality at this point. Despite part of me thinking I should just stay in the comfort of my own home, I felt really honored to be invited and kinda just wanted to show up, say hi, and then realistically go home within the first round of eliminations. I accepted the ominous invitation, and before I knew it, was flying to North Carolina being handed a custom uniform, all before even knowing what I actually just signed up for. I didn't even know if there was a prize for the winner at this point. Walking into the green room, I was expecting to not know anyone, but to my relief, I saw a lot of familiar faces. I even used this time to ask MatPat what it was like to meet Scott Cawthorn, and he told me FNAF secrets. So already this trip was more than worth it. Eventually, we were herded down a long, mysterious hallway until we saw it. The Mr. Beast cube. After everyone was filed inside, we were told the last person to leave the cube would be deemed the winner. And also win $1 million for their subscribers. This is for $1 million? The challenge began. Immediately, people started jumping in the giant pile of real money that was inside, throwing handfuls of bills in the air, laughing, mingling. To pass the time, James and I drew our cartoon characters out of dollar bills on the floor. The staff came in and ended up giving everyone their own personal vlog camera to document their POV of the challenge. And I think I genuinely was the only person who didn't record a single second of footage on that thing. I just thought, I'm not going to use this footage because I'm not going to make a video out of it, and they're going to have plenty of other people's footage to use. In hindsight, maybe it would have been a good idea to record something, just in case. I don't know, maybe the Mr. Beast team would end up actually wanting to use some of my footage. Who's to say? After maybe an hour or two, Jimmy came out for the first bonus challenge. A single free throw. Miss and you're eliminated, but make it, and not only do you get to come back into the cube, you also win a Cybertruck for one of your subscribers. They had 50 people's subscribers just in a room waiting for something to happen. I'll be honest, when Jimmy explained the extra credit challenge, I was like, hell no, I'm not going up to miss a free throw and leave immediately after nothing's happened yet. If my subscriber back there knew what was going on, they 100% would have understood they weren't getting called up for nothing. If I remember correctly, maybe 2 people ended up making their baskets and 3 people were eliminated. I could be wrong. I don't remember because I didn't vlog it. While chatting with friends, Ludwig walked up and asked if I wanted to do a dice bet. With nothing else to do, I agreed. And to no one's surprise, I lost. And an evil expression washed over Ludwig's face. Alright, since you lost, I want you to walk up to Kai Sanat and introduce yourself with, "Hi Kai, I'm Jaiden. So which of my videos have you seen?" Maybe I should have just missed a free throw. "Hey Kai, there's someone I want you to meet." "Hey man, I'm Jaiden. Nice to meet you. So, which of my videos have you seen?" Excuse me? Holy shit, I'm gonna kill myself. "Oh, so which of my videos have you seen?" "Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't seen any, I don't think." "Ha! That's okay. Nice meeting you, bye." Kai was super chill and nice about it, but oh my god, I wanted to rip my skin off. I'm stuck in this cube with him until further notice, and it's all Ludwig's fault with his stupid dice. I hate it in here, let me out! Oh, hi Jimmy. We were told to gather up in groups of 5, designating one as a team captain who will have immunity for the next challenge. I was with James, Schlatt, Ludwig, and Charlie Moist Critical, using the dice to choose the captain. This time, I actually rolled highest, but reassigned it to Ludwig because I couldn't cope with the idea of possibly being responsible for a teammate's elimination. And then it was revealed captains would just have to assign their teammates a shape for the Squid Game Honeycomb Challenge. Okay. Well, I definitely overthought that one. I had triangle, James got circle, Charlie was star, and Schlatt unfortunately got umbrella. The 10-minute timer began, and everyone started deploying various different strategies to get their cookie shape out. Charlie used a new technique called huck as much spit as you can into the tin to dissolve it all. It was really gross. He ended up filling the tin almost to the top with spit. By the end, 2 people with stars were eliminated, and not a single umbrella made it through.
Bye, Schlatt. It was very funny seeing Mr. Beast lift the lid off Charlie's tin and immediately reel back in disgust, though. A total of 14 out of 50 people have now been eliminated, leaving 36 people. Honestly, that was good enough for me. Losing at any point going forward was already further than I was anticipating. We were fed our little thing of rations and left to wait again. It probably doesn't seem like long in Mr. Beast's video, but it was like 9 p.m. by the time we began the second real challenge. After being directed to choose a partner, James and I shook hands, ready to take on the next game as a team, and froze as it was revealed we had just chosen our own opponent. Another Squid Game tactic. I probably should have seen it coming, I just didn't expect the double up. The Beast staff revealed the next challenge as they rolled in a giant Jenga tower. Winner stays, loser walks. Unfortunately, the very first game of giant Jenga between KSI and AJ ended up taking literally 2 hours. Doing the math in our heads, we all kind of figured we probably didn't have the time to play Jenga for the next 30 hours. But just as AJ won, KSI hoisted him over his shoulders and ran out of the cube. No! Huge drama! Everyone was freaking out. AJ was stunned. No one knew what to do. Was that legal? Can you just carry people out of the cube? Jimmy had everyone take a vote, and pretty much everyone opted to bring AJ back in. Yes, out of the kindness of our hearts, but also out of fear of being manhandled. So since giant Jenga was a bust, production ended up scrambling to try and find like 12 sets of normal Jenga at midnight in North Carolina. A feat that seems impossible, but I feel like Jimmy could just call up the president of Jenga and have it all delivered via helicopter within 30 minutes. It took a bit, but the slightly larger than normal, yet still reasonably sized Jenga towers were all set up. As our game was going on, James and I ended up making a pact that whoever was eliminated would relay to the outside world that the other was okay, because we didn't have our phones, by the way. Our friends only knew we were in the Mr. Beast cube and haven't responded for 14 hours. Our game of Jenga was pretty intense. Eventually it got to the point where as I was watching James pull out a final piece, I realized there wasn't any left for me to safely remove. I'm about to be eliminated. And a flash of bliss washed over me. Sure, I'll be gone, but that's okay. I'll be set free into the outside world again. The cube is harsh, unforgiving. It's taken so many of my friends from me. The glass floor is hurting my butt. I'm ready to go now. And deeper into the trenches I went. James being eliminated meant I was moving on to Cube Day 2. What a miracle. Watching the rest of the Jenga games was like watching an active war zone. People were focusing, cheering, sweating, praying. Towers were falling one after the other at the feet of now eliminated players. It was brutal. And also still taking way too damn long, man. Can I go to bed? The last game left to finish was between Quackity and a popular Brazilian creator, Enaldino. Apparently, when it was revealed the challenge was Jenga, Enaldino turned to Quackity and admitted he was a Jenga pro. Quackity had never played. Not the situation you want to be in. Quackity half-jokingly asked Enaldino if he wanted to play rock, paper, scissors instead, to which he replied, no. Which, you know, fair. But 3 hours into this single game, the two of them were neck and neck. Genuinely the most cracked round of Jenga possibly ever. Everyone in the cube was gathered around watching Quackity slowly pulling out the very last piece in this skeleton of a Jenga tower. Just as he was about to make it, Enaldino asked, rock, paper, scissors? Quackity looked up at him.
Muito tarde.
It was over. Enaldino tried to hang in there, but in the end, he fell. 18 people were now eliminated. Alright, it's 3 a.m. Let's go to bed. I genuinely thought they would let us go back to our hotel rooms for the night, but man, now this is just great. I won myself a ticket to a night in the Mr. Beast cube, sleeping next to a bunch of people I barely know, and I was probably just gonna get eliminated first thing in the morning anyway. As I was getting ready for bed, Kai walked by. Hey, I gotta check out your videos sometime. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I lost a bet to Ludwig and he made me say that. Oh, shit. Okay, damn. Oh, well, that makes falling asleep a bit easier. Thank God he only thought I had a huge ego for 19 hours straight. Crisis averted. In the morning, production had to prep for filming again, which meant they turned on every single light in the building, flash banging all of us. They were turned off, and then these loud-ass brrrr sounds from construction started blasting. They turned the lights on again a few minutes later, but this time in a crazy strobe light effect for some reason. After breakfast rations, Jimmy returned, pointed to the entrance hallway, and in walks I Show Speed. With too much energy for a group of people that just had the weirdest sleep of their lives. Alright, you guys have the chance to vote Speed into the cube to join you in challenges. The kind thing to do was to let him in, but we all just survived trenches no one could even understand. We were trauma bonded together. And also, it wouldn't be fair. The majority of us moved to the voting side of no. Admittedly, me too. Mainly because I was a bit scared of him. Speed looked at Kai. At least shake my hand, man. You're gonna pull me out. As the two of them argued about a friendly handshake, Ludwig stepped up. I'll shake your hand, Speed. His hand now extended to Ludwig. The moment their hands touched, Speed started yanking Ludwig towards the outside world. We all started screaming and panicking. We couldn't lose one of our cute brothers like this. Ludwig was holding onto the support beam for dear life. Some of the guys managed to pull him back in, and as Speed walked out, unable to take any souls with him, he exclaimed, "This ain't the last time you're gonna see me, and I remember all y'all's faces." Alright, let's get started. Challenge 3 was steal or no steal. Basically a modified version of deal or no deal. Some cases have the word safe in them, others say eliminated. One person looks inside a selected case, and the other decides whether they want to steal it or no steal it. And also Howie Mandel was there. Hi Howie, big fan. People started getting eliminated one by one, others securing safety. Eventually, Ludwig was up at the podium asking if anyone wanted to volunteer to go up. At this point, the ratio of safe cases was very high, 60% in favor of safe. Figuring the odds would just get messier from there, I volunteered. Ludwig looked inside his chosen case, looked up, and told me it was safe. I knew mathematically I should steal the case, but I've been burned by math before. As I started hesitantly saying I was gonna steal, Mr. B suddenly burst out saying Ludwig's heart rate was spiking. By the way, he was wearing a heart rate monitor, which made me scared it was actually an elimination case, and he was excited at the idea of avoiding going home. So last minute, I decided to let him keep the case. It was the safest play. If it said eliminated, then good, I dodged a bullet. If it was safe, then at least I'm not actually eliminated yet. I just have to play again. Shit. It was now my turn to bring someone up. Even though I didn't want to pick a friend out of fear of getting them eliminated, more than that, I didn't want to be up there with someone I didn't know. I picked Quackity. He came up to the podium. I grabbed case number 2. It says safe. My plan was to tell the truth, but in the most unconfident and nervous way possible. I was deploying every bit of body language knowledge I could think of, making myself look as guilty as possible as he asked me various questions. We went back and forth for a bit until your eyes looked down as you said the case was safe, which indicates guilt. So I think you're lying. I'm not gonna steal it. Without a word, I shifted the case onto its back, unlatched it. Safe. It was worth sleeping in the cube! Oh my god, the relief, you have no idea. After everything finished, a bunch of people walked out, and unfortunately, Quackity ended up being one of them. 10 people left. I know it's a dog-eat-dog world inside the cube, but when you're left to sit with your fellow contestants for hours on end between challenges, waiting for Jimmy Beast to send you all through another round of cube stress, you really start bonding with the survivors. It was pretty sad watching them go. Hours passed until the Jimmy death bell struck again, and we were told to partner up once more. Alex and I had really gotten to chat and hang out together as the only girls left at this point, so we paired up. Everyone was blindfolded and told to sit tight until they were ready, which is ominous. The two of us were strategizing and figuring out each other's strengths and weaknesses for whatever was coming our way, only to be unblindfolded and see the entire cube transformed into a kitchen. It was a cooking battle. we're actually fucked. What? Alex started panicking, saying she can't cook for her life. We were freaking out. Then Mr. Beast brought out the judges. Professional competitive eater Joey Chestnut, Miranda Cosgrove, hi big fan, and Speed. Bottom 2 teams are eliminated. Time starts now. We ended up committing to mac and cheese with a slice of chocolate cake, under the fancier title of American Comfort Food. AKA the only 2 women left in the challenge can't cook and they're trying their fucking best. The judges walked around to check in on everyone, and eventually Speed was at our station. So when you all were voting to let me in, which side were you on? Well, originally we were on the side of no, because we were a bit intimidated, but we ended up switching to a yes at the last minute. Right, Jaiden? Yeah, I switched. Alright, cool. 'Cause you know I don't forget, right? Yep. Later on, during the challenge, Mac and Nolan from the Beast team came up to ask what we were making. At the time, I was grating up Feastables to sprinkle onto our cake for decoration, and I thought, oh, it would be funny to have them ask what we're making, and it's just their own brand of chocolate. So I was like, close your eyes and open your mouth, and gave Mac a piece of chocolate, and immediately, without chewing, he was like, is this Feastables? And I was like, yeah. And he kind of stood there for a second with his mouth still open, and Nolan was like, oh, he's allergic. And they both had to leave. Oh my god, guys, I felt so bad. I apologized so much when he came back. Max said it was fine and is a good sport about it, but I still have so much guilt about being such an idiot. Ludwig and Amixem presented first with their fried chicken and asparagus dish. The judges all really enjoyed it, giving them a total of 26 points, which is really unfortunate because I definitely thought Speed was gonna hold a bigger grudge against Ludwig and tank their score. We were up next, and thankfully they really liked our food too. Joey was the first to score us and ended up giving us a 10 out of 10. And in the moment, as a joke, I wanted to turn around and flip off Ludwig as a, friendly fake gloat, but I accidentally turned around and flipped off Amixem, and I felt so bad again. He was not the intended target, and now I was just being rude, and this challenge was going horribly. Not because of the cooking part. I've just been nonstop fumbling socially. We also got a total of 26, putting us at a tie with the French boys. But now, Logan Paul and Nick DeGiovanni were presenting. And I haven't mentioned it yet, but Nick is actually a goddamn chef. They even gave us all his own cookbooks as a helpful tip for the challenge, which is just a knife twist in my opinion. So yeah, they knocked it out of the park, got a 29. The judges were licking their plates. After them was Kai and AJ, who had a great presentation, but their food, not so much. They got a 16. After eating, Speed got up and started smashing the plates on the ground, and Logan Paul saw this and got really excited because he wanted to smash plates too. Without thinking, he ran out to join Speed, and we all shouted at him in panic. Confused at the sudden change in the air, Logan looked back at us before realizing he left the cube. To this day, none of us are truly sure if he did it for, the content or it was a genuine accident. In his defense, the set was so cosmetically different that it really did feel like we weren't in the cube anymore. Either way, he content created too close to the sun, and even though he had a guaranteed spot in the finals, he was eliminated. The last team of Rubius and Spriter went up with their Spanish tortilla, but turns out Spriter is a huge fan of Speed, so he made a special Thai dessert just for him that the other judges weren't allowed to eat, which is honestly hilarious. We all held our breath as the judges flipped through their scores. 22. Alex and I made it to the finals. I never in my life thought I was gonna be getting this far, and suddenly realized I need to actually think about what I would do if I won. I went into this thing not even knowing if there was a prize at all, and was now facing the reality that I could win the whole thing. Hours passed as the 5 of us sat together in the cube until Mr. Beast emerged for the final time. Someone was about to win $1 million for their subscribers, and it all came down to this last challenge. Honestly, among the group, there wasn't a single person I thought didn't deserve to win. Everyone left were good people who all wanted to do something really positive with the money. It was great getting to know them all over the course of 2 cube days, and I was really proud to be standing next to them in the finals. 5 briefcases were piled in the center, 1 for each finalist. We were to each take one, peek inside our chosen case, and within the next 10 minutes, discuss who to vote out. If your
voted out and your briefcase is empty, you're eliminated. But if you're voted out and your case has the $1 million inside, you win instantly. It was basically like reverse Among Us. The first round started, we all grabbed a case, peeked inside. Holy shit, I grabbed the $1 million case round 1. I started shaking. I didn't know what strategy to use. I didn't know how to make myself look like I should be voted out. And during the discussion time, it definitely showed because I was really quiet and nervous the whole time. The 10-minute discussion wrapped up. We all unanimously wrote our votes down, and it fell into a tie between voting out Ludwig and somehow me. It could end right here. We had a few minutes to discuss again and recast votes, but Alex and Nick were able to figure out I voted for myself, so Ludwig was eliminated. The cases were reshuffled. We each grabbed one. I pulled it again. In that moment, I froze. Since I was in the hot seat last round, I was probably gonna fly pretty under the radar this time. Someone else is gonna be voted out, and I statistically will not see this case ever again. If I'm not voted out here, I basically lose. The second round began, and it was pretty much a blur from there. I was trying to talk more because being quiet last round got me found out, but was still flying too under the radar. Amidst trying to keep up with the conversation, strategize, and hold myself together, I couldn't find my win con. But with a few minutes left, Amixem said something that I think shifted the entire game. What are the odds Jaiden pulled the $1 million case twice? There it was. Gambler's fallacy, save me. Save me, gambler's fallacy. I couldn't mess this up. I don't know what to say to that one. Everyone's attention was now on me, and I could tell they were all thinking about what was just thrown into the ring. We all looked down at our papers. I wrote my name as quietly as possible, worrying the sound of the letters were gonna out me. Jimmy read them all out. Jaiden. Alex. Jaiden. Jaiden. They voted me out. I slowly walked to the middle of the podium with my briefcase. In that moment, I was the only one who knew what had just happened. Everyone leaned in as I unlatched the case and revealed the $1 million. I won! Confetti cannons blasted. Everyone immediately started congratulating me. All the eliminated contestants left in the green room ran out screaming and jumping around me in celebration. I started to tear up for some stupid emotional reason. So yeah, I won $1 million to give away to my subscribers. That is a Looney Tunes amount of money. First of all, top 5 all agreed that whoever won the $1 million would give the other 4 $100K each to do something for their subscribers too. So a total of $400K will be going to Ludwig, Alex Botez, Amixem, and Nick DeGiovanni. With the remaining $600K, I decided to put it towards paying for as many people's art degrees as possible. It's really scary going into the art field right now between the animation industry hitting their rough patches, AI threatening to take artist jobs. The overall career path is extremely intimidating and difficult to break into. I'd really like to encourage and make it easier for some of the up-and-coming artists by being able to send them through art school stress-free. I have no idea how to set it all up, but I'm currently working with as many qualified people as I have available to me to make it happen. As my and Mr. Beast's team figures it out, I'll keep you all updated through my Twitter. We'll get it sorted. I entered the Mr. Beast cube ready to just talk to my friends and screw up in the first challenge, but instead I was isolated from the world for 48 hours, watched my peers fall one by one in front of me, and left with $1 million for my subscribers. Thank you, Carl, for inviting me. Thank you to all my friends who made the cube so much more enjoyable. Thank you, Mr. Beast, for creating this incredible opportunity I can now use to support artists. Despite being put through cube trenches, I had a really great time. And of course, huge thanks to the Beast crew for making it all happen. It was something I'll never forget or experience ever again. Hopefully. If you're an artist currently enrolled in art school and are hoping to have some of your tuition paid for with the Cube winnings, you can now apply through the form I'll have linked in the description and the comments of this video. The form will be available for a week starting the day this video is uploaded, so be sure to check the calendar and apply before it's closed. I assume there's gonna be a huge amount of applications we have to go through, so expect a few months wait before we announce the winners. Thank you for your patience. I'm not sure how many people we can financially help out because everyone's tuition will be vastly different, but I'm looking forward to going through your portfolios and hearing your stories. Thanks for watching, and thank you to my team for dropping everything to work on this sudden video jump scare. Alright, until next time, bye-bye. Hey, just wanted to mention you can buy our new Jaiden anime figure bundle on JaidenAnimations.com. Cool, thank you. Game shows. People's favorite way to fantasize about how to win a lot of money and look really cool in front of the entire country. Everyone is sat down in front of a good old Deal or No Deal and watched the middle-aged white people pick the obvious wrong cases while Howie Mandel just smiles. And if you were on that show, you could do so much better because lucky case number 24 has never let you down. Well, today I'm gonna live that fantasy and prove how easy it is to actually win money on game shows. With my friends Jordan and Kelsey, we're gonna simulate 3 of America's favorite game shows and see how much money we can collectively win. Let's see how hypothetically rich we could have gotten. The first game we tried was Family Feud. 90% of you guys know Family Feud, and I see you, but for the ones who don't, the show asks 100 random people survey questions, and you have to guess what their most common answers are to get points. I thought this was gonna be easy. Steve Harvey sets you up with a dirty question, you scream naked grandma, and then they give you money. But the moment this poser of a host walked out, I knew I was out of my element.
Ari Tofu family up against the Ari Tofus. Let's play family.
That's not Steve Harvey. The game lets you build your family, and I was just gonna make me and my 2 birds, Ari and Tofu, and randomize the last 2 members. Looking back, I probably should have just made Jordan and Kelsey because they were right there. But somehow the game randomized to Walter White, so we just kind of went with it. You can see them, like, the stretching.
Walter White!
That's Walter White! It's really him!
That's good.
Look,
That's
it's so good. The prompt we were given first was, name a president whose face appears on money, to which we buzzed in Lincoln, and the opposing family, the Hortons, answered Roosevelt. And America must have been thinking the same thing I was, which was, wait, Roosevelt is on money? Because we got the higher score and got to keep guessing more answers. We very confidently punched in Washington, which was first, and then realized we didn't have any more guesses. Obama? After 3 strikes of wrong answers, the Hortons buzzed Hamilton, which is stupid because Alexander Hamilton wasn't even a president to begin with. Everyone who experienced 2015 knows that.
Does that mean they steal all the points?
No.
If
Hamilton?
Well, like the Alexander.
It's time for you to score some points.
If I know something, Hamilton is not a president.
Like the Graham Bell. Alexander Graham Bell.
No! They took all the points! BS! Name a president. Alexander Hamilton. Ding, 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 ding. Here's all the points. America is so dense and uneducated, they are literally pumping wrong answers into Family Feud, and I am suffering because of it. Name a fruit. Hot dog. Going into round 2, we were down just a bit at 0 points to 96, but we swept the next prompt. Something that helps a baby go to sleep. Milk. Round 3, hit the fan again. Something you might lose as you get older. We were on a roll with hair, teeth, memory, hearing, and memory. We got a strike because I said parents, and even though that's literally 100% correct, guaranteed, it wasn't on there. There was 1 answer left we needed to figure out, and we came up with vision, which we were very confident in, but received another strike. Flabbergasted. How is hearing on there but not vision? We threw out a half-assed walking, got our last strike, and it was given to the Hortons. Strangely enough, they ended up passing. Guess they couldn't think of anything. But you know what the answer was revealed to be? Eyesight. America is so lucky the Hortons passed on answering, because if they answered eyesight and took all our points again after we said vision, it would have started my villain arc. With a strong point lead of 224 to 96, we are now entering a double points round. What's something people alphabetize? Names. Soup. 4 Americans thought they were being funny in the Family Feud surveys, and I am yet again suffering because of it. So the Hortons can play, but they end up passing again for some reason. That family only alphabetizes soup. We tried music, children, we ran out of ideas and just said soup again. Nothing was right. The answers ended up being address book, files, recipes, lists, and spices. Which spices I beg to differ. There's no way the typical American has curry powder and garam masala in the front. They have salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and everything gets shoved in the back until they die. So now we were on the last round, which was fast money. They give you one last prompt with one answer, and if you guess it, you get the chance to actually win money. Name something that runs on gasoline besides a car. I buzz in with a strong bus, which was incorrect. I'm not wrong though. I see you going to the comments. Google says a bus is a separate vehicle from trucks, cars, vans, lorries, etc. It is not any of them. That's what Google says. Lawnmower. Dude, whatever. All we proved was America's bogging down Family Feud with their stupid wrong answers. I don't want to win that dumb freedom money anyway. With $0 in our pocket, we moved on to The Price is Right. I've actually never watched this game show before, so I was learning as we went. 4 lucky contestants from the audience are given a random item, and the closest one to guess the actual price of it without going over, is selected to come up on stage and play more games to earn money. And I learned that even if I was one of the lucky 4 people selected, I wouldn't even get the chance to be on the actual show. The game gave me 6 chances to be the closest one to the price of the items, and I lost every single one. But hypothetically, even if I miraculously was the winner and taken on stage, I still would have won nothing. I tried twice for content and still ended up with $0. So we're entering our last game show of the day, and we've got a whopping $0 to our name after being on 2 of the most popular shows created. We really need to make this one count, because I am going to look like such an idiot if I was on 3 game shows and came back with 0 money. We walk out on stage. The spotlight finds us. Jeff Foxworthy raises the microphone to his mouth and welcomes us to Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? The show where you're given trivia children up to grade 5 are taught. Answer them all correctly and we could be leaving the show with $1 million in our pockets. But fail and you're doomed to know you're not smarter than a literal child who has to raise their hand to go to the bathroom. That's Jeff's favorite line to drop when people lose. He says it all the time. It's like his go-to roast. Every couple of questions, you have to pick a child they have provided to help you out. You're given the chance to either peek at their answer or copy their answer, but you can only do those once. They're like your child lifelines. I picked Jeremy as our first little buddy. I liked his enthusiasm, and he gave us a really good high five. The subject we chose was under 4th grade math, and the question was, how many lines of symmetry are found on the following shape? It showed us a picture of a pentagon. I accidentally thought it was a hexagon at first, which was not my finest moment. And then it glitched and never went away. We couldn't get the pentagon to disappear and literally couldn't read the multiple choice answers. Our thoughts were, since we wanted to punch in the answer of 1, yes, I know, another not the finest moment. Look, I was stressed, okay? The pentagon was freaking me out. I wanted to say 1. Surely they would have put the answers in ascending order, A being the smallest number, and D being the highest. So we locked in A, hoping it was 1. Lock in.
Oh, man.
Locking in.
So no!
Let's restart. Let's restart that there,
First of all, 7 was completely the opposite of what we were trying to say. Second of all, we wouldn't have been right in the first place. And third of all, Jeremy ended up saving our hides. So besides being able to either peek at or copy your student's answer, if you ever get something wrong but the kid gets it right, you get to be saved and are still in the game. Like the rest of the lifelines, it can only be applied once, and Jeremy was here to be our Pentagon-knowing hero. Anyway, we restarted. That attempt, we weren't counting that one because that was just a practice round, and the forever lasting Pentagon wasn't fair. It messed with our heads. But this one's for real now. Attempt 2 started and was going well. We ended up getting to the 6th question without any problems. But of course, as our luck would have it, we were given another glitch question where they gave us an image, and then we can't read the answers. This time the question was from 4th grade social studies. What is the shape of the following landmark? And then it showed us this. I didn't know what it was called, but Kelsey was sure it was the obelisk, and we could barely see that as answer C. Even though we were 99% sure we should just lock in C, I wanted to play it safe and copy our chosen student Alicia's answer. So we copied her, and Jeff Foxworthy revealed the correct answer, which was C, obelisk. Jordan, Kelsey, and I all celebrated because we were right, but in a very unfortunate turn of events, it was revealed that Alicia punched her answer in as B, pyramid. What, you little... Oh my god. Attempt 3. We really wanted to do one attempt each with the game shows because on national TV you've only got one shot to make your money. But I don't think there's ever been times on Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader where Jeff Foxworthy tapes the obelisk to your face and makes you guess on while you're locking in. This time, I'll say it now, we didn't get any questions where the pictures perpetually blocked the answers. It was all a fair fight, and whatever we win on this try is what we're going with. And it was going well. Really well, in fact. 3rd grade animal science. Which of the following animals has 8 arms? Ha! Octopus. I knew that one. 3rd grade music. A symbol that represents the duration and pitch is also known as what? Musical note. Then we got stuck on 5th grade measurements. 9 meters is how many yards? I don't know that. I am an unfortunate slave to the imperial system. So we decided to copy Juliet's answer, which was 9.8. She was right. We got to move on, even passing the $25,000 benchmark question. That means if we end up flunking out from this point on, we still get to leave with $25K. Solid, but we're going for that million. By the way, I had no idea you could win that much money on this show. They could ask you, what's this? And then you say the color wheel, and then you can walk out with $300,000. That's absolutely bonkers. Anyway, we were getting far. Really far. 50,000, 100,000, 175,000, 300,000. We were still in it. The $500,000 question arrived. 4th grade inventors. Which inventors' improvements to the steam engine were instrumental in starting the Industrial Revolution? We didn't know. None of the choices seemed right, as in, we didn't know who any of them were besides Benjamin Franklin, and I don't think he did that. After a lot of back and forth, we decided to guess on Robert Fulton, which was the wrong answer. We were out. But then we realized we still had hope. We hadn't been saved yet. If the student we chose during this round got it right, we can still keep going. Jordan, Kelsey, and I looked to our side to realize Alicia. The girl who thought this was a pyramid. We're doomed. We had no more child lifelines left. Where was Jeremy when we needed him? She reveals her answer. James Watt. She was right! We were saved! You were just saved by someone who needs to raise their hand to go to the bathroom. Jeff, we made it. We got to the $1 million question. Apparently, they tell you what the subject is gonna be, and if you don't want to take it, you can still walk away with $500,000, which is very generous. But the catch is, it's not multiple choice. You have to submit your answer yourself. Which, being real, if I was really on this show, I would just be like, alright, cool, see ya, and settle on the $500,000. Are you kidding me? That's $500,000. I've proven enough here. I'm going home now. But for the sake of the video, we went all in. The subject was Earth science. And the question was, what do you call the process of heating water into steam and then cooling it to purify it? To which I was like, I don't know. But miraculously, Jordan knew it. I might know this.
Fucking,
oh my god, I don't know this.
That's distillation.
Is it?
Good job, babe.
Yeah, right?
How do you spell that?
DIST.
Isn't that what you do to alcohol?
Yeah, ILL. Distill. I'm pretty sure.
It's a better word than I would have said.
I would have said, Jeff, I don't know.
Locking in.
I hope so. I hope
they're not like,
right.
actually it's distillation.
Here's the correct word. Condensation.
Now locked in for the final time.
Oh my god, fingers crossed.
Is on the line.
Everyone
First
in
of
the
all,
audience crossed their
congratulations for
arms at the
getting
same
to the end of the
time.
line.
They're
It's not
pissed.
easy. You will lose $475,000 and walk out of here with
$25,000 is still a
$25,000.
juicy amount.
That's a good amount.
Like, I'd still be happy. Like, very happy.
Me too.
No, I'm sorry.
No?
What?
What is
What
it?
is
I can't believe what a moron I am.
This is my bad.
Show us the correct answer, please.
I swear to God.
We were right. We were right. We were right. No. We won that million. I don't care what the game says. We won that $1 million fair and square. It's distillation, not distilling. Shut up, Jeff Foxworthy. Go back to making barbecue sauce. So let's see what we made. Family Feud? Nothing. Price is Right? Wouldn't have even made it on stage. Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Hypothetically, $1 million. I'm happy with that. Thanks for watching. I wanted to mention again, we're selling a really cool Jaiden anime bundle that includes a new figure, vinyl record with Japanese and English versions of our Rise Above song, Ari cards, stickers. Go to JaidenAnimations.com and follow our shop Twitter at JaidenShop for updates and sneak peeks on what we're working on. Alright, thanks for letting me shill. Bye bye. Do you ever think to yourself, man, why is it so hard for me to just do the things I need to do and focus and remember things and manage my time and be organized and remember things and not get sidetracked? Ha! Yeah, me neither. When I was a kid, I was pretty much the picture-perfect depiction of a good student. I was well-organized, always turned in my work on time, got good grades. I even did my homework on Fridays instead of procrastinating until Sunday night. Sure, I didn't like studying and found it hard to focus during it, but who didn't? Saying all those qualities put together, that doesn't sound like the brain of someone with any kind of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, does it? I was well-behaved, didn't feel like I struggled much in school, and didn't cause any trouble. That is, up until I moved out of my parents' house for the first time to go to college. Gradually, I started slipping. I began skipping classes a bit when I just didn't feel like going, would wait until the last moment to start classwork, and lost a lot of motivation because I wasn't interested in any of my schoolwork. But overall, even though it was pretty out of character for me, I chalked it all up to the fact I was simply over going to school. At the same time, my YouTube was really kicking off, and all I wanted to do was that. Of course I wasn't gonna be as good of a student when the silly YouTube videos were doing numbers. I finished a single year of college and convinced my parents to let me take a gap year to see where this YouTube thing can take me. Spoiler alert, the gap year turned into me never going back. I'm a college dropout. So great, I've eliminated the boring school part of my life that weighs me down. Now I can go back to being organized with my new exciting passion job, which entails being my own boss and having to manage and assign myself all of my own responsibilities 24/7. Why are the voices not getting quieter? It's almost like everything was going backwards. I was having a much harder time staying organized and focused. If I didn't want to do a certain type of work, I would have to shackle myself down in basically an isolation chamber to be able to get it done. If I found a new interest, it was all I could think about. And why is it so easy to suddenly be on your roof watching a YouTube video on how to know when you need new shingles? I really didn't get it. Child me had it held together more than current me. What went wrong? I could look back and recognize how everything used to be so perfect and easy. Look at tiny Jaiden and all her ducks in that row. I used to color code every single binder I owned, and now I don't even know where I placed the $20 I literally just had in my hand 3 minutes ago. I haven't even left the room. Genuinely, where could it can go? Despite feeling like I was downward spiraling for multiple years, I never suspected it could be something related to a genetic neurodevelopmental disorder. I just thought I wasn't trying hard enough and being lazy, or applying myself like I used to. Oh, the woes of turning into an adult, I suppose. Maybe the best years of your life truly are in high school. How upsetting. I didn't even enjoy those either. But then one day I got a text from my brother. I got diagnosed with ADHD. It was a pretty big surprise for me because growing up, he never really seemed to show any of the typical symptoms you associate with ADHD. You know, people would always describe ADHD to me as super hyper kids who would run around the room and scream and generally be a lot. That wasn't my brother. He was quiet and well behaved like I was. But when he started explaining his symptoms, the gears started turning. Yeah, I've always struggled a lot with focusing in school and having things hold my attention when it's boring. But like, I could hyperfixate fixate on things I'm interested in and get really passionate about that stuff. Hearing him talk about his personal symptoms of ADHD made a lot of sense, and I felt very freshly educated on the topic. And you'd think that I would immediately start looking into getting a diagnosis for myself, because if you were paying attention, my brother's experiences all sounded very similar to the same struggles I've been having in my own life, but related to work instead of school, because I dropped out. But nope, I was just like, good for you, bro. Happy for you. Or, I'm sorry, I don't know. Anyway, back to struggling to simply open up my drawing program as if 2 blocks of iron were welded to my wrists. Imbalance of brain chemicals? Nah, this just happens from time to time. It's normal. Just the laziness kicking in. I hate Mondays, am I right? Even though I didn't instantly think there was a possibility of me also having ADHD, the mental seed was planted. It's genetic, so I knew subconsciously it ran in the bloodline. It took a few years after my brother was diagnosed for me to really sit down with myself and consider that I, too, could have ADHD. Shocking revelation, I know. Foreshadowing, where did you come from? Things in the focus and productivity department were just getting worse and worse. I had the attention span of a cartoon dog, would completely forget things as soon as they entered my head, would hyperfixate on random stuff like an addict, and there was constant civil war happening inside my head to get one thing done, even though I knew it would only take like 15 minutes. You don't understand. It feels like physical torture to make myself sit down and lip sync a simple scene, like most of the time. You know, the thing I've been doing for 10 years at this point and am definitely used to doing. And yeah, once I've gotten going, then I'm honed in and you have to pry me away from it with a crowbar. I'm aware of that part. But nah, I'm still gonna scrap with myself to plant my ass in that chair because I don't even know why at this point. The biggest thing holding me back from feeling like I had ADHD has always been the simple memory of being in school and having my shit together. I know what it feels like to be on top of things and to be organized. I had it all in the palm of my little child hand. I just needed to summon it again with a bit more effort. But a light switched off in my brain and suddenly I'm just not capable of the things I used to be. And it feels pathetic. Simple tasks are such a mental burden, it feels like I'm out of control but can't do anything about it. So finally, I figured I would try and get myself diagnosed. What did I have to lose? If anything, they just tell me, no, you don't have ADHD, try a little harder and stop complaining. And yes, of course it took me like 8 months after deciding to get diagnosed to schedule the actual appointment. What did you expect? That's like the first checkmark box on the ADHD list. I started seeing a psychologist and he would ask the typical, do you have a hard time focusing? And I'd go, yeah, like this one time yesterday, and then he writes something down as I continue rambling on this hyper-specific example way too long for a neurotypical person. I met with him for a few weeks and then it came down to diagnosis day. The nerves, man. I was so ready for him to say I'm a normal person who needs to suck it up. But instead, he was like, okay, so yeah, you definitely exhibit symptoms of someone with the inattentive type of ADHD. And autism. Yippee! My struggles are justified. I'm not crazy. Wait, what was that last part? He explained all the different ways ADHD affects me and the different areas I struggle with compared to others. He even gave me a 37-page document of his conclusions and information on how my brain works, with graphs and pictures. I've read through it all a bunch of times now, and it's already really helped me understand how I tick. I call them the autism docs, but I'm not gonna get into that side of the diagnosis. Let's just brush that one away for now. There's a couple types of ADHD you can have: hyperactive, inattentive, and combined, which is both hyperactive and inattentive. Hyperactive is the type people typically go to when they think of a loud kid who can't sit still. People with this kind normally need to fidget, have low patience, tend to talk a lot, and have trouble staying seated, especially when they're expected to, like in a meeting or school. Inattentive is the one where someone experiences difficulty in focus, memory, organization, has a low attention span. That's the one I have. It's self-explanatory, but if you have the combined type of ADHD, then you got it all. ADHD jackpot right there, my friend. I brought up during the appointments that I used to be such a good kid in school with seemingly zero ADHD symptoms, and how that part has always confused me. And he had a couple hypotheses about it. One, since my mom has always been a big source of my organizational influence, I was able to depend and lean on her for the majority of my school life for it. I felt like I was naturally capable of staying on top of things because she was right behind me the whole time, reminding me and guiding me through stuff. So when I moved out, everything started crumbling, which lines up pretty perfectly to when I did start struggling. Another explanation he gave was the fact that ADHD affects women differently than men, which is also less researched. Love to hear that one. Not only do women tend to be able to mask their symptoms better than guys, so it goes much more unnoticed, but they also experience ADHD differently. And research says there's a chance it can just start affecting women later in life. I'm no ADHD scientist though, that's just what I've been told by specialists. I don't know, I've just got the dang thing. Either way, those two explanations make a lot of sense to me and have since put my weird ADHD imposter syndrome to rest. I didn't really think that getting a diagnosis would change much about how I go about my life, but since getting my ADHD certificate and lollipop, it's completely revolutionized how I think and go about getting things done. It's still hard to get my ass into gear when I need to do one normal thing that's not difficult, but I'm much less hard on myself and will strike almost like these kinds of mental deals to loophole myself into getting things done. Like, for example, if I really don't want to edit a video, I'll say to myself, okay, I know it's gonna be super hard for me to immediately start that task, so I'll get myself into the mindset of getting things done by doing a simple other task I don't find difficult, like cleaning my room. That way, I'll feel productive and can transition that into tackling the original task much easier. It doesn't always work, but it's the mindset change and overall understanding that sometimes I'm gonna have to go about things in different ways that's helped me a lot. Also, after being diagnosed with ADHD, I didn't have much desire to get medicated. I figured just knowing I have it would be enough to get things into gear, and I didn't really need medication that badly. But the content creator in me also thought, well, if I'm gonna write a script about having ADHD, it would be nice to be able to talk about what it's like to be medicated, even just for a day. So I got prescribed good old classic instant release Adderall. Instant release means I don't have to take it every day. I can just take it when I need to get stuff done. It affects me immediately and then wears off after a few hours. There's also extended release, which is the kind you take every day and gives you a constant steady stream of medication. It wasn't until I had the Adderall in my hands when I realized the idea of taking it for the first time made me nervous. Like, what is this thing gonna do to me? I have so many friends with ADHD, honestly a higher ratio than friends without it. That's how it goes in content creation. All these MFs have it. They were all telling me that it's awesome, how you'll take it and immediately feel like a god, and you can do anything and it's incredible. And yeah, that sounds great, but also like, what the hell? What do you mean I take this little pill and suddenly all of my problems seemingly disappear and I gain superpowers? That's scary. That sounds like the thing every adult in a 20-mile radius warned us about when we were kids. Am I gonna feel like a completely different person? I don't know if I'm ready to experience immortality. I put off taking Adderall for so long because I was irrationally scared of the tiny blue pill, but coincidentally, I really needed to get a script done. If I take too long to write a video script, then the team runs out of work to do, and then I have a bunch of people sitting around and waiting for me to give them more work so they can pay their bills and survive and stuff. But for the freaking life of me, I just could not get myself to sit down and write that script. My body and soul found it mentally easier to backflip off a bridge than write words on the computer. After literally 2 months of my brain going, ooh, you better write that script. I won't let you enjoy a single moment of your life if you aren't writing that script. I don't wanna. Get up, go to the bridge. After that constant loop, I finally swallowed my fears and took my first Adderall. I had talked to James a lot about what Adderall is like since he's been on it for a few years now. And after I took one, I was messaging him like, I did it. I ate an Adderall. How long does it normally take to start? How do I know? What do I do? And he was helping me a lot and giving me tips. Then, like 20 minutes later, I felt it. All the nonstop thoughts going on in my brain
went silent. I could think clearly, and in like a line. My mind wasn't racing a mile a minute. I was able to sit behind my laptop and write. It was incredible. I was messaging all my friends about it the entire time. I can write my script and not get distracted. I don't have to take a mental break every 10 minutes. I can remember things. Kelsey sent me a message and I thought, I'll check that in a bit. And I remembered to check it in a bit. And respond! When I opened a new tab to look something up, I didn't go down a random unrelated rabbit hole. I picked up my phone to check something and didn't impulsively scroll Twitter for an hour. I can write words so easily. How am I doing this? What do you mean I can feel like this whenever I want if I just eat the tiny blue pill? I refuse to believe regular people can function like this on a day-to-day basis. No way. It wouldn't be fair. You guys don't have loud, non-stop voices in your heads preventing you from doing normal things? Come on, just admit it. You can't pick something up and immediately keep remembering what you were supposed to be doing with it. You always forget and feel crazy. Come on. Come on. I was so suspicious that on Adderall, either nothing would happen and I just wouldn't feel anything, or I would feel like I'm a totally different person experiencing some higher than life manic episode. But no, I just felt like myself, but with my shit together. And that's the part I couldn't believe. After 2 months of war, I finally was able to plant myself down and write my damn script. You wanna know what script I wrote while experiencing Adderall for the first time? This one. I was struggling to write a script about ADHD, and the thing that finally pulled it out of me was Adderall. Come on, you gotta admit that's funny. Yeah, it was great. I didn't think my head was loud before, or I was that impulsive, or had that hard of a time focusing. But now that I've been able to peacefully sit in one spot for hours and not need to take a break, or check social media, or get distracted by some stupid tangent I don't actually care about, yeah, this changes things. I still can't believe what I was able to accomplish. Writing a script in 3 hours. Compared to my typical 12 hours. AKA one mediocre thing with no struggle at all. And you want to know what I did right after I wrote this script? I immediately got up and cleaned the bird's room. Without rotting in bed for 3 hours beforehand. I just went from one task to another. Without thinking about it. All you neurotypical people must be thinking I'm literally pathetic and useless. But I know my ADHD brethren are out of their chairs right now hearing that. I'm not standing before you all to give you scientific data and information on ADHD, or diagnose you, or even promote prescribed drugs. I'm just here to talk about a big and recent experience in my life, how much of an impact and effect it's had on me, and how awesome feeling normal is. Seriously, being able to take a deep breath in mental silence is incredible. Cherish that feeling if you don't have a neurodevelopmental disorder. It took me 26 years to realize my woes were not actually woes, but symptoms of brain chemical deficiency. I'm writing this video, all things considered, pretty recently after being diagnosed, and I'm still trying to learn how to rebuild my life in a way that lets me optimize my productivity and get things done at a normal level. But so far, I've come so much further than I thought I could simply by knowing what's going on up there in the old noodle. And Adderall. If you're on the fence about being diagnosed with something, I get it. It's scary. It's scary to think you might have it, and it's also scary to think you might not have it. It's an odd place to be. But for me, having a concrete answer from a professional is what got me to finally stop feeling stuck in place and actually start moving forward again. It's been great. I'm excited to keep learning more things about how my mind works and find new ways to improve my day-to-day life. Cheers to getting normal shit done.
In case you missed it, I have new merch! For a limited time, you can get yourself a new and improved Ari plush and a completely new soft Ari jacket. I love both of these products, and up until June 23rd, they could be all yours! If you miss it, you'll never know how fluffy and pillowy the jacket is. Oh, it's like a cloud. Or how cuddly and friend-shaped the plush is. Plus, it's a great way to support both me and the team while we continue to make animations for you. Check them out at JaidenAnimations.com. Thanks for watching the video, and good luck simply existing to all my ADHD brethren out there. I'm right there with you. I believe one day you'll respond to that message in your inbox. Hang in there.